What is going on, everybody? It is episode 354 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
It's like you said it extra fast just to freak me out. Also, I can't hear myself super well, so now I guess is the time to correct that. Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I am back. I was gone yesterday, and Brett was also gone yesterday. I'm good. Yes, sound good. Grug-like. Yes. Because we are both infected with some horrible virus. I think the Matrix poisoned us, and it's not a good day for us here. So bear with us, please. Today we have a guest who is healthy and going to help us get through the show today. Hi, Kellen.
Yeah, but for how long, Mary? How long? Like, come into this just diseased of a room. It's like the opposite of like one of those clean OR rooms, you know? It's just the complete opposite. But I'm going to do my best because I've got immune system number one. It's the best that we've ever seen. It truly is just tremendous. And my name is Kellen. So what's up, everybody?
Best immune system we've ever seen.
It's the best. I do post-production for Timcast IRL. I'm a volleyball and Velcro enthusiast, and I'm here to try to be as positive as I can be in a world that's just so angry and evil all the time.
I can appreciate that. We need more positivity.
I'll try. I'll try.
When all the stories are negative and I'm over here complaining about everything. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. Warner Brothers has decided to celebrate their 100th anniversary. That's called a centennial, right? A centennial is your 100th anniversary?
I think so.
Yeah, they're celebrating their centennial by going super duper mega ultra super saiyan woke.
0 to 100.
Yeah, 0 to
wokeness.
100. They're going to be doing a bunch of DEI woke remake short films of famous Warner Brothers properties like Robin Hood and A Star is Born and a bunch of other ones. It's like the worst idea ever created in the history of ideas. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this resurfaced clip from the show The Good Doctor, which proves to the world that it takes a doctor with autism to tell everybody what they already know, which is that child transitioning is probably not a safe thing.
I love when clips just inexplicably go viral on Twitter for no reason at all.
They never explain why one decides to go viral again. We're also going to talk about a show that was famous back in it was like the 2000s. It was called That's So Racist. No, I'm just kidding. It's That's So Raven.
That's what it would be today.
Yes,
just kidding. It's Raven's home today.
Yes. So there's a clip of one of the actresses from That's So Raven talking about how the studio couldn't possibly see a black woman as the star of the show, which of course we all know is BS. We're going to talk about that. It's a large leap in logic that makes no sense. Also, Andrew Tate is afraid that the Matrix is trying to poison him. I think he probably just got a bug bite. We're going to talk about that too. Mary, we got a $20 one right there. You want to read that real quick?
I do. Hobbit said, "Have fun in the Petri dish."
There you go. That's a good way to describe it.
This is Petri culture crisis. It's literally a culture inside of a Petri dish.
Perfect way to describe it.
Perfect. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Before we get started, guys, could you thank you. Could you like this video? Could you subscribe to this channel? If you have not done so already, make our sacrifices worth it by subscribing to the channel. Remember, all super chats, $20 and over, will be read immediately. We will interrupt the discussion.
Because we're grifters.
Yes, exactly. And then we will get back on discussion as quickly as possible. What's funny is I actually feel worse today than I felt yesterday. I just have slightly better voice. Like yesterday, I just couldn't talk.
Brett's really into his gravelly, sexy voice today.
We need to film all the ads right now.
Do it.
Guys, let's go.
PCC After Dark.
There's somebody else that I sound like the smoking aunts from The Simpsons.
I wasn't going to say it, but...
Yeah, it hurt my feelings just a little bit, but you know, it's fine. If you guys are ready, we will get right into it. Mary, are you ready?
I'm ready. Kellen, are you?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
See, isn't that hard? Like when
it just feels a little Barney and Friends.
When I was on the last time I was on IRL and I was in Ian's spot, I whiffed when they did like the names, or when they go around to do the names. Like Phil looks at me and nods like it's your turn to talk. I'm like, nobody motioned at me.
There is like a kind of an order that we do on Timcast where it goes guest.
Yep.
I guess secondary guest, which is like Phil, Hannah, Claire. Yeah. And then it goes to Ian and then Sir. So there is like an order that we have all kind of memorized in there. But for someone who just avoids IRL, You know, it could be
called
tough.
out. Called out.
I'm always happy to do IRL. I have a good time.
It was fun. We did an episode together. It was a good time.
I enjoy not having to like push buttons or like look at a screen or anything like that. Like I get to take my glasses off sometimes, which is nice. So, all right, let's get started, guys. First, we do have a bit of a rest in peace right here. Jerry Springer, the host of the Jerry Springer Show, which these two that I'm with today probably won't be able to completely grasp the cultural significance of this man because you're so young. But if you think that our culture is degrading fast now, you can give this guy a big high five for being a big part of it. He highlighted a lot of the degradation of our culture.
The culture was already degraded, and he was just making money off of it.
I mean, yes,
I don't blame him.
And yes, but Jerry Springer, I don't think he's this evil guy that like brought the downfall that you guys are like describing. Jerry Springer brought people together to hash out their grievances and differences. Now that doesn't happen. Now you just sneak up on someone and, you know, there's gang beef and we all know how that ends. But, you know, Jerry Springer tried to bridge.
He was 79.
Tried to start conversations. That's what he was. He was a truth seeker.
Conflict conversationist. That's not, whatever.
A mediator.
Conversationalist?
Conversationalist?
Yeah. It's but he's very much, if you want to think of somebody like a Paris Hilton as relevant to the culture in the mid 2000s, he absolutely would have been in the same category.
Way bigger.
Earlier than that, he's a very big part of American popular culture. It's sad.
And sadly, people like Howard Stern also fit into that category.
Yeah. Did you see that Howard Stern had to bring up Tucker Carlson? He's like, he forgot he was a puppet for Murdoch. I'm like, you freaking tool. You curly-haired degenerate tool. I hate that guy. Ever since I found out,
edit that so he's insulting Kellen, please.
I hate that guy. Ever since I found out that he like mocked Selena, the singer Selena, when she died, and still now has the gall.
He mocked everyone.
Yeah, but now he's pretending that he didn't, and that's the most.
Yeah, he does.
Speaking of Selena, do you ever, Brett? Do you ever watch Chef and Selena? The new Selena Gomez. You should watch it, dude.
What's it about?
It's Selena Gomez and she cooks food.
Oh, didn't she steal that from Hailey Bieber?
Doesn't everybody do this?
Who did it first?
I have no.
Who did a cooking show first? I don't know. It's giving Chrissy Teigen.
Who's the butter woman?
Paula Deen.
Yeah.
Mrs.
Or
Buttermilk?
Rachel Ray.
Mrs. Buttermilk.
Rachel Ray is a classic.
They're like the OG. Not Mrs. Buttersworth.
But what happened
no,
to this, like,
Mrs. Buttersworth.
someone who's a professional celebrity that just does cooking shows or makes a fashion line or makes a perfume. Chrissy Teigen is exactly that.
We need like a female celebrity to make like a pair of like nunchucks or something, like
something unexpected.
Yeah, or like a nice series of monocles, just something crazy.
These days I've been watching channels that are it's cake or it's all the cake or not channels, but this one guy did it with his whole kitchen. So the whole kitchen was cake.
I don't know how you make a whole Netflix show about that.
Yeah, like this guy's whole kitchen was cake. He goes like he walks up to it, he tries to open the microwave door and it's just a cake panel.
No.
Comes off. It's incredible. He goes to his coffee machine. It's like he's putting his coffee cup under it and he goes, nothing's happening, and then he cuts a hole in the coffee machine and he goes right down and cuts through the cup that he put in there. Which is it's incredible. I love. Everyone wants to complain about, oh my gosh, it's so bad to live in the West these days. It's so awful. If we have the money to make shows where it's just a guy who turns this entire kitchen into cake, I posit that we live in the end times, full of gluttony.
How much raw flour do you think that? I would love to see that pictured, like all the flour that went into making
world
a cake
hunger
kitchen.
With the amount of resources being spent on that.
Blake Snow in the chat says first live show. I apologize for my voice, my friend, if it's your first live show.
Yeah. Hello, I guess.
Hello.
That actually reminds me of something I was thinking about today. So, like, on a popular feature on Twitch is like your streamer, like once you're winding the stream down, they can go and raid someone, which basically dumps all their viewers into another viewer's channel. So if you guys are watching the show, you know, I would encourage your favorite streamers, you know, besides us, to go and raid us. Bring more people here because, you know, dude, this is going to be one of the biggest shows on YouTube, and you guys have early access.
Early access.
You know, that's what it is. It's like the open beta.
Maybe, you know, with all the talk we've been having lately about plastic surgery, maybe I can get can you get vocal cord surgery? Maybe I could get my voice permanently turned like this just so that it won't hurt.
You can, or it will go wrong and you have chipmunk voice forever.
Or just scream and drink a lot like Steve-O did.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can work on that. Because I'd be fine with my voice being like this if it didn't hurt so much to talk. So. All right. We got some other stuff to mention. I do want to mention this real quick. Fast and the Furious 10 is predicted to only open to $65 to $70 million, and that breaks my little heart.
Oh, I thought that earlier when you said it had low predictions, you were talking about Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, that too. I mean, that does too. That's like 120 to 140 million that they're predicting.
What is like? What's the like milestone you want to hit nowadays to be like not just successful? Obviously, you want to make a profit if you're a major movie studio.
You have to make twice as much as the movie costs to make to get anywhere.
But
near
what number would you consider being like this was a success? This movie killed it in theaters.
I mean, that really does depend on the box, like how much it costs to make it. So that would be on a sliding scale depending on what the movie costs to make. We were going to cover something that we ended up not getting to, which is that the budgets for both of the third and the fourth Jurassic World films were double what they said they were. So they're among the most expensive movies ever made.
Why?
And I have no idea. And they still made a small amount of profit. We have a $20 super chat right there from Shane H. Wilder.
Brett, you sound like you want to make me an offer I can't refuse or ask a punk to make your day. LOL. Prayers that you and Mary get over your maladies speedily. Kellen, great job rocking the stash.
Thank you. I saw someone in here said it was perverted, my stash.
You got a cool shirt on today, too. It's
on.
like business in the front, party in the back.
It is. Everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
Come
you look
on.
like you're
Don't knock
going.
me.
You look like you're going to in the front. You look like you're going to work in an office. In the back, it looks like you're going to a bar in Oregon. It does. It does.
That's insulting.
So, all right, Glenn Powell, who we did talk about the other day, Mary, he has broken
Kicked
up.
to the curb.
Did she kick him to the curb?
Yeah, because she posted on Instagram.
So that's why
Gigi
she
Paris
unfollowed.
posted on Instagram a selfie where the caption was "On to the next," or it was like, what was it?
I don't know.
Something on to the next.
Who are these people?
It's Glenn Powell's from Top Gun Maverick, and he's kind of
This was after he had cheating rumors with Sydney Sweeney because they're filming a rom-com together.
Isn't Sydney Sweeney pro-Trump?
No, but some of her family members are.
or
and
might
everyone
be.
lost
We
their
don't
shit
know
about
for
it.
sure.
I thought she
that's
was
true.
like. There's a picture of her in a MAGA hat.
No, it was her mom's
Make
60th
60 great
birthday,
again.
and it was a shirt. It was a hat that said "Make 60 Great Again."
Oh, so she got trashed for that. Oh my god.
So when I didn't know 60 wasn't great. So I thought 60 was fine.
Yeah, when did 60 stop being great? It was always great.
Yep. So so he's they've broken up. So I guess that makes more sense. She doesn't have to pretend to care what Sydney Sweeney thinks now.
Know your worth and on to the next in her Instagram post, and that was after she unfollowed Sydney Sweeney on Instagram. I just think it's funny that Sydney Sweeney is this alike to her teenage counterpart in Euphoria, who steals her brunette friend's boyfriend from her.
I'm weirdly more attracted to Sydney Sweeney every time I see her.
Also, I saw some tweets analyzing the situation. One person said, Glenn Powell is a nasty cheater and Sydney Sweeney is just a 25-year-old teenage girl trying to navigate this crazy thing we call life. Another person, this was from Jamie on Twitter. Dating an actor is just like dating a porn star. They get paid to cheat on you. LOL.
Well, I asked that question the other day, and I finished it off right as the show was ending. I said, is doing a sex scene in a movie cheating? And I think 62% said yes.
I would say no.
That was my take.
Well, how do you define cheating then?
Well, you gotta that's just one of the things that you need. Like when you're a famous actor and actress, especially one that's getting involved in those scenes, like it just comes with the job.
Okay,
now the
It's
question
like, okay, if you're a cop who
I don't see you
fires
as
on someone, or are you a murderer?
I don't see you as being in a monogamous relationship if part of your job
Sure, maybe you shouldn't be in one.
Having sex with or pretending to have sex with or touching or whatever, like other people than the person you claim to be in an exclusive relationship with. So like that girl that I was on whatever with, she's a stripper and a porn star and claims that she's in a monogamous relationship. The other guy doesn't do any of that stuff. I don't see you as being in a monogamous
porn
relationship.
from like a heated
Do we
scene.
need to
That is
separate those
completely
things
different.
though?
Yeah, if it's like a Game of Thrones scene,
it's pornographic. It absolutely is.
yes, but
is he
there's also
cheating if
camera
he-
angles, and a lot of times these actors and actresses, there's tricks where they look like they're kissing and they're not. They wear special like skin-colored garments.
I get that, but
I'm not saying it's not
material, it stops and starts somewhere, and a lot of what is being shown on Netflix or HBO Max, it's porn. It's just straight up porn.
I mean,
Whether or
it's
not they're
lewd,
actually
sure.
having sex.
Well, that's-
and I think we're so desensitized as a culture to what that actually is that a lot of people are making excuses for it, like, oh, it's just, heated, it's intimate,
So
it's
what if
explicit.
what if you're in a relationship and you go and you're a nude model? You just sit there naked so people can paint you.
But that's just whataboutism. And
Well,
also,
yes, exactly.
also, I don't think most people would be okay with that. No.
Sure. Well, maybe, but I don't consider it cheating. I mean, it's a profession. Maybe you shouldn't
Maybe
be
it's
in a
not
relationship.
cheating, but you're not in a relationship.
Maybe you shouldn't be,
If
and
your
I would
body
say that's
belongs
a
to
good point.
other people.
But it's like you're talking about usually like a scene that lasts less than 5 minutes, in a movie or a TV show, compared to like
That they shoot
porn,
for like 3 hours,
Longer than that.
probably longer.
12
compared to like
18.
porn where the whole thing is sex. So I think there is a clear distinction to make.
The
And
distinction is blurring, Kellen.
and they do, like, I know
the state of modern
they teach
entertainment.
actors and actresses certain tricks, so it looks like you're kissing, it looks like you're doing this or that without it actually happening, So I don't know. I think we just disagree here.
Someone in the chat said not all nudity is perverse, Mary. I think we need to move a little bit in the opposite direction, though. I think we're sliding a little bit too far. I think we can all agree on that. And we know exactly what to shield from the eyes of children, not marble statues.
So then, like, what about bikinis when you're at the beach?
I mean, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, but I think you have
And
to...
there's also the factor that when you're in the 3D space, when you're in the real world and a woman is wearing a skimpy outfit or she's wearing little clothing, men are obligated to suppress their sexual urges
of course.
around them, as they should. But when it's through a screen, you're being psychologically affected by it.
Okay. I just think it's a spectrum, or a sliding scale.
What about a
if you
highly
will. I don't think it's
emotional,
just this
intimate
or
scene?
that.
What?
What about a highly emotional, intimate scene with somebody who's not your real partner? That can be
Wait,
just
That's
as...
a
what
great- that's a
example
great
would you
point.
cite for that?
What?
What example would you cite for that?
Can't think of any off the top of
I'm
my
thinking of a movie. I can't think of a specific movie, but a movie where it's really just two main characters, like a rom-com. A rom-com. There's no sex scenes, but their whole movie is two people falling in love, and they're not actually together in real life.
Sure.
John Krasinski in The Office and his relationship with Pam, right? For 8 years, or however long, how many years that they were together on screen, kissing, stuff, and then he had to go home to Emily Blunt. Like,
And
I think that's a good thing to talk
they had
about.
a chemistry that is real.
But some could argue
But-
that he had more chemistry with what's her name? Jenna, I can't think of an actress.
Fisher?
Jenna Fisher. Some could argue that he had more chemistry with Jenna Fisher than he's ever seen having with Emily Blunt.
Well, that's because hopefully their chemistry isn't private.
Yeah, not for public consumption.
Yep.
I
mean-
there is obviously a sliding scale and gradations to this, but I think that tweet saying that their job is to cheat on you is like not as far off from the truth as we might think. Actors and actresses just simply don't have a normal job.
Tell us about Olivia Wilde and Emily Ratatat.
Yeah, the two worst people are beefing. So what do? You don't take sides. You just make fun of them. Olivia Wilde has been broken up with Harry Styles for a minute now, and we all saw the video of Harry Styles and Emrata eating each other's faces in Japan. It was grotesque. Nipples protruding, very disrespectful. And then Emrata, in an interview, said that she feels bad for Olivia Wilde after that was made public. And an inside source said Emily shouldn't feel bad for Olivia. She should re-examine her dating life and the men she chooses to go out with.
There's a $20 super chat right there.
We've got it from Irishima Otaru? Or is it somebody else?
From Clef the Misfit.
Oh, Clef the Misfit. Whether or not something is cheating is entirely subjective to that person's partner. There are women who say watching porn is cheating, even though you're not actually touching anyone else. Everyone has different boundaries.
I got a fun example of something. So on the show Castle, Seamus Deaver's character, his wife, the woman that he ends up marrying on the show, is his real life wife.
Okay.
So that was always kind of cool that he ended up.
But why is it cool? You know, like if it is divorced from reality, why is it cool?
I'm giving you a solution to what you were just saying. Like, if he's going to be in scenes like that, granted, I don't think they actually ever had any scenes of him being romantic with people in the show, but I'm saying, like, that's a way around it. You cast the person's actual wife.
But doesn't that kind of break the rule that we're talking about all the time, that you don't need to actually experience something to portray it on screen?
So should all actors never get married and be
I mean,
single?
probably.
Okay.
They're, like, kind of worse than everybody else in society.
What about, like, Broadway performers?
I mean, that's kind of in a way a whole different ballgame than Hollywood.
So you're saying, so is there a certain level of fame or status you have to reach to be considered an actor? Like,
to be considered an actor, no.
That shouldn't be dating.
I mean, that normal people shouldn't date, I should say. I mean, they're free to date each other. That's whatever. Right. But clearly, Glenn Powell's girlfriend did not understand the consequences of dating.
I think the bigger problem with these Hollywood relationships is just they're serial relationships. So, like, I almost feel like none of them are secure, none of them are true, and they can't trust each other. Because whether or not it was cheating, which I don't know, like, I don't keep up with this stuff, but whether or not it was cheating, it's like he's on to another girl just like that, and they're an item. And it's like, where's
and Imrata operates the same way as, like, a promiscuous man would. And that's kind of the point here, is that they're in a constant rotating, like, roster of singles who are perpetually single forever and think they're going to be hot forever. Right. And it's not true. They're going to be in for a rude awakening.
Olivia Wilde is hitting that right now.
The Insider also added, Olivia just wants Emily to keep her name out of her mouth.
Keep my
ex-boyfriend's name out your mouth.
There's a $20 one right there.
Calvin Pafford said, if I kicked my girlfriend's father in the nuts, I'm sure it would be a violation of my girlfriend's boundaries. That doesn't exactly make it cheating.
Eh?
I kind of understand what he's saying,
well,
but
you have
it also
boundaries
is
in
nonsensical.
different areas of your life, I guess.
Yeah, that's just like you shouldn't kick anyone's father in the balls.
I don't like the whole everyone has different boundaries thing, because it's giving into this subjective morality where everything is okay as long as it's consensual, and that's not the case. And relationships do have to be in certain objective bounds to be considered a relationship at all. That's why, the definition of marriage has been made such a relative term. That's a bad thing for everybody, and that's why no-fault divorce is a thing. I mean, I'm kind of opening so many different conversations right now, but that's my basic
it's
take
just
on
tough because, like, I understand what you're saying, right? And so we can agree that bikinis at a beach is okay, but nude beaches are probably going too far, right? But then again, like, it is up to the person. Like, if there's a couple going to a nude beach and they're both okay with it, it is up to the individuals at the end of the day. I mean, as a society, we kind of do have these.
That's what they're permitted to do. I'm just saying it's not, like, morally okay.
You should go as Olivia Wilde getting the document from Jason Sudeikis for Halloween.
That's hilarious.
She had a very bright blue blazer on, right?
You should take an envelope that says, like,
I'm not tall enough.
That says divorce papers on it and carry it around for Halloween.
I'm not tall enough, and I can't purse my lips like that.
I think Olivia Wilde is going through, like, a midlife crisis, to be honest.
Of course. Yeah, that's obvious,
I was playing Call of Duty the other day, and the guy I was playing with is apparently Harry Styles' caddy when he comes to California.
What?
Yeah, golf caddy.
He has one specific one that he needs.
He goes to this.
Pretty common.
He goes to this club, right, or whatever, this golf club, the golf course, and he requests the same dude, and it's this guy that I was playing with. And I don't know. He seems to think that Harry Styles is, I mean, albeit, being Harry Styles and the way he is, he said he's pretty much a normal guy. So, I kind of lean towards Olivia Wilde being the issue here and not him.
I always lean towards Olivia Wilde being the issue. Unless it's with Emily Ratajkowski, then I lean towards both of them being the issue.
Except when she's 13 in House,
yes.
And then she's perfect. Yep. Then she can do whatever she wants.
I mean, even then, she's kind of annoying sometimes.
She's a little neurotic.
But I love that.
She's high stress, man. She's a doctor working for Greg House.
Well, and she's got a degenerative disease that's killing her.
That's
slowly,
right.
But that, doctoring is hard too, I suppose.
What is it?
Huntington's. She had
yeah.
Huntington's disease. It's too bad. My favorite part is like where House like makes her take the test and tricks her into taking it. Then she throws it away and it becomes like a weird like thing in her brain where she then forces herself to take it because she took the test, had the results, didn't look at them, and then basically he got her to do it at the end
Has
of it.
Omar Epps been in anything recently? Because I really liked him.
Yeah, he acts he's kind of like a David Boreanaz in that he's always working, but it's just not stuff. He was in Resurrection, the show that we talked about with Samira. She was in that show. They were in that show together.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool to talk
But
to her about.
he's an actor who's always working.
Huh.
So yeah,
Okay.
he's a journeyman. All right, Bam Margera's on the run.
He's on the loose.
He's on the run, and he's leaving hateful voicemails.
No, they got him.
Guys, that's the
Is there an
first
update?
crisis party.
There it is, guys. Do you,
You
like
might
it?
be-
Do you like it?
You might be
like it?
confused because it's very
Well, people told me
peaceful.
they couldn't hear it anyways. So you know what? If you're gonna complain, I guess you're gonna go
Brett
to dinner
Dasovic,
hungry.
the passive-aggressive girlfriend of pop culture
That is me.
crisis.
It's like it complained. I think the crisis party cheated on me in my dreams. Therefore, I'm not giving anyone the crisis party today.
Okay.
But
So
no,
they get just the colors.
They caught Bam, or well, they didn't catch him. He turned himself in.
Surrenders
I think,
to cops. Yeah, I
yeah.
just see the update here. Yeah, so he was on the run with his girlfriend. They said he was using meth
And a kid.
And a kid.
Her kid, I guess, not
is no
his.
longer on the run in Pennsylvania, surrendering to face charges for allegedly assaulting his brother and speaking out with details how he says it all went down. How it all went down. It's it's a very, very sad case to see somebody degrade that far into addiction.
Somebody needs to get that kid. I mostly feel
I've
bad
heard
for the kid.
people have tried to help Bam as much as they can. At this point, he's going to have to. I mean, I don't know what rock bottom is, but he's going to have to hit it because. I mean, maybe this is it. Maybe this is he needs to go to prison, go to jail for a while, sober up, and get his life straightened out.
He doesn't want to, and you can't make someone do that.
You can't make someone do that. I think it's hilarious that he's just fallen so far that Hulk Hogan tweeted out. I think it's a real tweet. I'm not sure though. Hulk Hogan tweeted out. He's like, he thought he died.
No,
He's like,
that was like a year ago. He's like, so sorry, my friend.
That was many years ago.
Yeah, sorry you died. And he's like, I'm still alive. And I didn't respond.
No. Amazing. That's like, that's how you know like someone's just really fallen off the cliff. And that's my point. You said that was a couple years ago or a year ago.
Yeah.
So he's been on this spiral for a while.
People in the chat are calling me extremely passive aggressive.
Brett Pasovic.
Yes, there you go. That's exactly what it is, my friend. All right.
I love that.
Amber Heard. She is going to be featured in the next Aquaman 2 trailer. They debuted it at CinemaCon. It is not online right now, but they bring it up because the campaign to remove her from the movie was at like $6.4 million now, or 6.4 million signatures. The funniest would have been if they actually removed her,
It's
but left
4.6,
Ezra.
not
Did I say
6.4?
6.4? Fine. Well, I don't feel well. I'm using that as my excuse today. If they had removed her but not removed Ezra Miller, it would have been ridiculous.
I didn't expect them to
No.
realistically remove her
There's
at
just
all.
it just shows there's no consequences for the elite. Once you gain a certain status, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want.
She's not even really at that status.
No, she's not.
I'd argue she is because she was a famous model before she was an actress.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about.
Grim
previous
Hammer in the
career.
chat says SEAL Team is solid, though woke creep exists, but Boreanaz does a good job of making the woke moments centered around veterans. Yes, the first 3 seasons are pretty good. I noticed some garbage creeping in around season 4 and stopped, like right in its tracks, stopped watching it. As soon as I have no patience for that stuff, and obviously everyone's standards for what is woke. What I've noticed now, since I've been rewatching the show called The Glades, which I love. It's got the most annoying main character in history. He's this cop who's just a dick to everyone he interviews. He's just a
Because he's
he's awful.
short?
Yeah, no, he's not. He's actually it's Matt Passmore. He's actually pretty tall, but he's just it's the way he talks to these people. It's just awful. But I realized when I was watching this episode that every show like that has their own gun control episode. And Samira was on the Arrow version. Arrow had a gun control episode called Spectre of the Gun in like season 5. She was on that episode.
Okay.
I forgot. I was going to bring it up with her. Like, did it feel like propaganda when you were doing
The title
that
is
episode?
extremely on the nose.
Yeah. So like this one, they all do, even long before wokeness had creeped into our television, there was always some type of gun control episode or immigration episode in all of these shows. So Amber Heard, 4.6 million signatures telling her that they don't want her on the show anymore.
And they're
in the movie
meaningless.
anymore. And it doesn't mean anything. So
I don't think anyone even cares all that much about her being in the movie or not in the movie. It does not matter. This is like what Kellen was saying before we were live. It really doesn't matter. Everyone is just obsessed with getting mad about things. And it makes no difference.
I was going to say too, and you know, not only is there rage burnout, but there's also Superman cape burnout. I really don't care for Aquaman 2 at this point. I just don't. We mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you flooded the market and completely ruined any excitement and hope for these kinds of movies.
Someone tweeted, like, I know that if you go to see The Flash on its opening night, that you don't, like, I have less respect for you because I know that you don't care about that movie. You're just going out of an obligation to keep up with the next release.
For which movie? The Flash?
I
mean,
that
argument makes more sense for Marvel movies, less for DC movies.
I was watching. I've been watching Seinfeld a lot recently, and you know, there's multiple scenes where they're waiting in lines at the movies, and you know, it's something we've lost. Like, not just waiting in lines. I mean,
There
that's
aren't
no
lines
fun,
anymore,
but
though. That's
there's
okay.
no lines, but it's like everyone is eager and excited to see the movie that's coming out on a Friday or Saturday night, and that's been completely lost. Now we get Wednesday at midnight, Thursday at midnight releases. We get
You very rarely get the Wednesday. We had that for Avatar 2. I think that was a Wednesday at midnight release. Thursday at midnight's pretty common.
And it's just like the actual idea of going out to the cinema has been completely lost. I don't know. I don't think the pandemic killed it. I think it was dying for a while.
Yeah.
And it's just sad. It's sad. It was one of America's pastimes to go to the movie theaters. And
I still like it.
Yeah, but it's not the same as it was when I was a kid. And like, they used to be, every movie you went to would be packed as a kid.
And as they've
It's not the
continually
case
like
anymore.
raised and optimized the experience of going to the movies with all of this extra like concessions and the reclining seats, and they're heated, and you know, the sound systems getting improved and the visuals getting improved, none of it is ever going to measure up to just a good story.
Right.
That's not going to get people to go to the movies.
Exactly. And that's why I think Seamus was talking about it last night, how, you know, when art and animation stopped being hand drawn and started being computer generated, not AI, but just computer generated. He's like, yes, it flooded the market with more art and more animation, and people could start producing more quicker, but it doesn't necessarily improve the quality.
Yep.
Right? The quality did not improve. There was still and like, I always think about when you say this, Brett, but like, good art does not come around often.
No.
Right? Good movies, good storytelling, it does not come around often.
Yep.
And so maybe that's what it is. Maybe we have this like kind of false hope, if you will, that everything should be phenomenal, and it's just not the case, you know?
All right. We got a couple of other things for John. Do you want to tell us about the John Stamos thing? This is really funny.
Yeah, this story went viral recently. He was on Josh Peck's podcast and admitted that he got the Olsen twins fired from Full House when they were a year and a half old because they were crying too much. They got new babies and they cried more. So
Uncle
he
Jesse.
said, just never mind, bring them back.
The other ones were just worse.
Imagine getting mad at babies for crying.
I can understand. But like, I'd almost be like, just write them out of the show, man.
Well, you agreed to be on a show knowing that there were babies on the show.
Yeah.
So you knew that there was going to be crying.
I've heard John Stamos was kind of a D-bag for other reasons. I can't think
Everyone's
of it off the
been a
top of my
crying
head.
baby, and I don't want to hear anyone complaining about it. That's
Agreed.
my point. Everyone has been a baby that's crying and annoying everyone at one point in their lives. Probably multiple.
All right. Also, we do have a sort of a mea culpa to offer here. Remember
Not really. I'm not sorry.
Our story the other day about the Canadian actor named St. Von Colucci, who apparently died having 12 plastic surgeries to look like Jimin from BTS. Well, apparently it was all fake. Fake.
It's really confusing. I want to get to the bottom of this because it came from somewhere, obviously. So there was someone posing as his publicist. I think that person is probably to blame. The name Eric Blake, wasn't it?
It's even better.
Everyone that I see,
like, who are you?
Everyone that I see that gets these crazy surgeries, they all look like you went to the Halloween store and got one of those like latex
We're
masks,
not even
like the
sure
big
that
over the
this
head
person
masks.
exists.
Ooh, this Saint guy. I mean, he doesn't look
They
real
said,
from the picture.
in
of
fact,
this.
Von Colucci may not have even been a real person.
I looked. There is no IMDb for St. Von Colucci.
I was
who's
asking, like, do you know
supposedly-
anything he's been in? And you
Yeah.
were like, no, I haven't heard of him before.
So where did this story? Where was it first reported?
Daily Mail.
Daily Mail, and I saw it on TMZ. And apparently it's just fake.
I'm
fake,
really
fake, fake,
confused.
fake.
Like, how did the Daily Mail pick it up? Who is to
Are
blame?
we sure Canada even exists?
It is a very good question, dude.
Good
Vancouver
point.
doesn't
That
even
was
sound
the first,
like a real
That was the
place.
Should've been
first
the
moment
first
we
red
should have
flag,
questioned. Yeah.
Yep. That's
Oh, man.
so yeah. It says the Daily Mail. I just imagine
We joke about spreading fake news, but we actually did it.
we did. There's I did a reel on it, like of you talking about it or somebody talking about the whole segment. So there's like that's going to be up forever. It's going to be us looking like doofuses because it's not real.
It isn't real, but I think the archetype is real.
Yeah.
Ollie London is real, that's for sure.
Yep.
And
Yep.
thankfully he's still alive to warn about the risks.
I also have something new I want to introduce, which is the internet is in fact awesome sometimes. So you guys need to watch this. You guys are going to laugh. Hold, please.
Unfollow Joe Alwyn on Instagram?
Donald, I did that weeks ago, right when TMZ broke the story.
I've been trying to limit my screen time, Barack.
I never followed Joe. I knew he was trouble when he walked into Taylor's life.
Thank you for all the support, guys. Gigi and I are about to have an epic hot girl summer.
And Joe's about to have a cruel one, am I right?
Girl, I saw you and Gigi Slay in New York yesterday. You were looking fab.
My girl was dressed for revenge. Let's leave it at that.
I stop. You guys are too
I like the
kind.
Now we
Discord
just have
chime.
to ruin that bitch Selena.
Gigi, what?
She stole my baby daddy Taylor. You think that's okay?
Please don't make me choose sides here.
Gigi, you're talking reckless bringing up Queen Selena like that. Do not push your luck.
Taylor, what if you unfollowed her on Insta? That would really send a message.
You can't be serious, Gigi. It's really not that deep.
Yeah. Save me the spiel. I knew you weren't a real one.
That's your cue, Barack.
Say less, Donald.
I don't want to get copyrighted. Incredible.
So
I thought that when she said Gigi, she was talking about
From Paris.
well, I thought she was talking about Zizek.
No, Hadid, right? She's
Yeah,
talking about
she
Hadid.
was talking about Gigi.
too many GGs.
The Donald Trump voice is really good, and like he's got such a great voice to parody in these things.
Let's leave it at that.
Serge and I were talking about how this is a trend that Gen Z is so screwed that they can't just listen to like a regular like fake voices like that. They have to
It
have
has to
the
have
mind
gameplay
Yeah, it has
or
to
a
have random
satisfying video
Minecraft.
of like honeycombs getting crushed.
Or you know the popular one is just like people in GTA driving cars off giant
someone like
ramps.
skinning a cucumber.
Yeah. It's like I used to tease my little
Something like
brother that
pimple popping videos underneath.
What did I say? He's like not multi-screening, but I used to tease my brother for it because he'd have like YouTube on his phone open, the Xbox and the TV all at once, and I'm like, dude, you can't even pay attention to any of these things.
Yeah.
Like pick one, you know?
I had that at one point. There was a time when it was like movie, television show, video game, and then computer, and then yeah.
Well, that's why DirecTV a while ago came out with where you can watch like multiple NFL games at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's just like you're only watching one at a time, realistically.
Yeah,
That's why
multitasking is a myth.
That's why and then NFL Red Zone came out where they'll jump to the game of whatever team's about to score. And it's like, they did it right because they're like, you're a human. You can really only focus on one thing at a time. Even people, like I forget what they say, but multitasking doesn't really exist. Like intense multitasking. Like
switching from tasks or switching your attention quickly exists, but doing
There's
multiple
muscle
things at
memory.
once, paying multiple attentions at once, I'm
Right.
not convinced that that's possible.
Right.
I'm also excited for the cringe of the day.
We've got cringe. Yes, we do.
All right, here we go. I haven't watched
That
this one
wasn't
yet.
that wasn't the cringe.
That
of the
wasn't
day?
cringe of the day.
Okay.
Though somebody said it was cringe.
You don't want me to look good. All right, Carly, you got to move over here. The Papa's couldn't have a heart attack and they don't want to break your neck.
He's literally choking.
Wait,
Those Disney character meal bills are
happened?
no joke.
Yes.
Disney itself is a place of dreams and debt. Disney can be an easy 5 to 10K depending on how big your family is and what you want to do there. But it's worth the experience at least once. Questionable.
Wait, was that the cringe of the day
That was
we
his.
just watched?
That was his meal bill.
It was his.
He literally
cringing
almost
his-
went into cardiac arrest
because he saw how much it was going to cost. I do also have this one, guys. This
was funny.
This
saw
one's
this.
from one of my favorite Twitter accounts, which is called Darwin Awards.
Oh my
What is
gosh.
Oh, oh, bro.
Wait, what happened?
He was riding with no wheel in the front axle and
Oh, I
just
thought he was doing a wheelie.
Yeah, well, he was, and then he screwed up. We do also have cute of the day, guys. I do have several from people today, but we're going to start with a cute of the day from Keanu Reeves. Mary's usually the one who's anti.
I don't like the whole like Keanu Reeves good guy
Why not?
meme, whatever, because you never know what a celebrity is like. And
Yeah,
there,
but for all
there are
the
other
dirt,
celebrities too.
for all the
that get
dirt
that
that's
treatment.
so public, he does a really good job if there is dirt of keeping it private.
True.
Here we go.
Such a big fan.
What's your name?
Noah. My name is Noah.
Hi, Noah. I'm Keanu.
You're probably my favorite actor in the whole world.
Oh my gosh,
You're the
Noah,
best.
thank you. Did you see Duke Kaboom in Toy Story 4?
Yeah, he's my favorite character.
Canada's greatest stuntman! Well, I'm glad you liked it. I really liked playing Duke Kaboom.
I like.
is
I
nice.
was like,
That's
because
cute.
when I'm seeing it, I'm thinking like, is his favorite character John Wick? Is that kid's tiny? Like, is that kid watching Wick take headshots from like 50 feet away?
It's his favorite actor in the whole world.
It's his favorite actor in the whole
yes.
world. Keanu, like, and he's like, he handles that situation so well. That type of situation would be so unbelievably awkward for me. Like to be like to
have someone
like I never
compliment you.
Like, yeah, I hate compliments. I do. But like when we would go to skate contests and stuff like that, if somebody recognized you, always made not uncomfortable, but it's like there's like dead air there.
He has practice though, man. You know, this isn't, you know, he probably felt that way after The Matrix got big.
And then
but-
somebody points out that like he's organic and Pedro Pascal is the establishment good guy.
Pedro Pascal, he's. I'm not convinced that he's a good guy.
He's not. All right, and I do have a couple hashtag PCC pets. This first one is from Are You Still Falling For It on Twitter. It says, this is Domino. She is the goodest girl. And I like that picture a lot. Domino looks very happy in that. Is that a
I
sombrero?
love the get up.
Yes.
Is that cultural appropriation?
Can a
It's
dog
almost Cinco de Mayo.
Can a dog culturally appropriate? I have no
I
idea.
think so.
All right, we got a couple more here. All right, this one is from Big Dave. He says, Dodger in the brown coat, Finnegan in the gray and white, and the newest addition is Frankie the French Bulldog. They will not leave me alone after I barbecue.
I like
Frankie.
the name Finnegan.
Can you make that bigger? Yeah.
Yes. That is
Frankie.
adorable.
They're also in formation.
Yes, it's adorable.
That's awesome.
I'm loving having people send in pictures of the pets.
I'm waiting for like the first like exotic pet that I don't
We
know
had
if you've
a-
shown
we
it.
We had
Ferret.
a
Ferret
ferret.
the
Does
other
that
day.
count?
Ferret's cool.
So
Are there any people
kind
with
of.
like birds or snakes?
I think you
or-
guys should get a chameleon in here. A panther chameleon.
We should.
Yeah, because it won't bother you, it doesn't make noise, and you're not really supposed to handle them anyway. So he'll just chill, and every once in a while, I'll be like, "Oh, there he is," and he'll blend in with the green and pink lights. It'd be awesome.
Like a class pet.
yeah,
So
We
this
send
is-
the guest home
you're a
with
mascot, pop culture mascot.
This is Winnie. This is Winnie from Summer Solstice on Twitter. It's a pit bull mix, and I like this picture a lot. That is an adorable
it.
picture.
I
right
do
there.
not endorse.
Okay. It says she's always happy when she's in the woods or soaking up the sun. That's very cute.
Aw.
All right, and one more. This is Chinchu, the white terrier.
It's like a marshmallow.
Yes.
With eyes.
It's like a little teddy
how are
bear.
you real?
No audio on this one.
Oh, I heard.
No,
yeah,
there is.
yeah, there is.
There it is.
Vicious.
I like how her tail like folds up against her like along her back and wiggles.
It's adorable. All right,
That's funny.
guys. If you guys are ready, now that we've done that, we can get right started. Are you ready to get going?
I thought we were started.
I mean, we've started the start of the show, but the start of the show has become its own.
We don't really talk about anything. We have a variety show at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
All right, we're gonna get started then, guys. So, Warner Brothers, not Warner Brothers Discovery, just Warner Brothers, the company, is celebrating its centennial, its 100th anniversary, and they've decided to celebrate by shooting themselves in the foot by remaking a bunch of classic films with woke content. And this is actually one of the rare times where that word is 110% applicable here, because it's literally being run through their DEI department.
Their DEI inclusion team unveiled plans for a short film series that reimagines the studio's iconic films through a diverse and inclusive lens.
It's the definition of woke. 6
filmmakers have been selected to develop and shoot 20-minute short film adaptations, bringing a modern lens to the classic Warner Brothers titles A Star is Born, The Adventures of Robin Hood, Calamity Jane, Jack and the Beanstalk, The Prince and the Pauper, and Rebel Without a Cause, with representative casting, storytelling, and narrative.
What does that even mean?
They're all going to be trans. They're all going to be in wheelchairs. They're all going to be indigenous.
Given how they make it now, Robin Hood's probably going to steal from the poor and give it to the government there now, because they love they love to be bootlickers.
This is just more, a lot of times in the show I've said there's a lack of creativity in our current generation. I take that back. It's a lazy creativity, because what we're seeing is, and like a lot of times you'll see this in video games nowadays, where it's obvious it's just like the maps that they make for you to run around in are just copy and pasted. Very generic. No one actually spent time to really think about it and sit down and truly design it from the ground up. And I think we're seeing this in stuff like this, right? It's easier, it's cheaper to make 20 short films, slightly change things so people will be interested in it, than actually investing and taking a chance on a new story. It's way cheaper, it's a safer bet.
That's actually something that I was reading in an article today. We might actually talk about that tomorrow, that it's just safer what they're doing. They're not willing to take the risks.
Yeah, and it's not just the DEI is like, you're going to get at least some money, you're going to get some viewership, right, by doing that. But it's not just about like the risk taking. It's not just making it for a modern audience. They're afraid to tell new stories.
Well, they're going to get money from it, but not from viewership, but from BlackRock and the Corporate Equality Index.
Warner Brothers has a higher ESG score than Disney.
The ESG scores that get them money from hedge funds, which bails them out every time that the consumer dollar is not enough. And this announcement confused me, firstly, because A Star is Born...
It's new, right?
Is new. And it was a remake of a 1954 movie with Judy Garland. So it was already a remake from the beginning. So you're remaking a remake to make it woke, which was already successful in like 2018. And then Robin Hood is also getting remade in a show on the CW that's coming out this year, and it's going to be a woke shit show. We know this already. We covered it.
She's in a hip-hop group. It's Robin Hood with a Y. It's a girl.
Is it really?
A black girl. Robin Hood.
Yes. But and that's just the thing. Like, if you want to remake Robin Hood, just cast a just cast the best actor or actress for the show. But you don't need to be like, look at us. Look at us! Look how woke we are.
Jamie Foxx was in the 2018 Robin Hood, but he didn't play Robin Hood.
Yeah, I thought, what was it, The Dark Knight? I thought they did a good take on Robin without actually making it Robin. I'm thinking of Batman and Robin. I'm sorry.
Different Robin.
But either way,
the show
Warner
Merlin.
Bros.
The show Merlin had a young black actress play Guinevere, and I love that show. I love Merlin. It's so cheese. It's fantastic. Everyone should watch it.
Why did David Zaslav okay this? I don't understand the thought process.
I mean, because it's good for the stock price.
That's what's so frustrating. Is like mega corporations not only rely on the government to bail them out when there's a financial crisis, when normal middle-class people need that support, but they also rely on private hedge fund investment to bail them out when they consistently give consumers products that they don't enjoy or support, and when they inevitably have the get woke, go broke phenomenon happen to them, they rely on these investors to make up the difference.
It won't matter in this case
will never matter what we want.
Because these are going to be 20-minute short films. I don't even know where we'll end up seeing them, whether that's on Max or
It's just like all the trash that they put on Disney Plus that no one watches.
And there's I see these trends where it's like one and done, one season canceled, 2 seasons canceled. and you're seeing this over and over again from these streaming platforms, and you think you'd learn something from your mistakes and what you've tried in the past, but they don't.
They don't learn.
Got
They
a super
continue to
chat
make the
from
same dumb mistakes.
Clef the Misfit that says, Calamity Janiqua, Jack and the Leanstalk, A Star is Oppressed, The Reparations of Robin Hood, Rebel Without a Gender, and The Prince and the Proletariat.
All of those are I
I
especially
would watch
like
Jack and the Leanstalk.
Jack and the Leanstalk sounds like something they would have made in 1998, and like it would have had Snoop Dogg in it.
I feel like that should be a rap album name.
Yeah,
it'd be really good.
Like there was a 1998 movie with Snoop Dogg called Bones.
Really?
Like, yeah, we should.
Did you ever watch Mac and Devin go to high school? I think it was. That's Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I hate this corporate robot speak. We are thrilled to empower talented filmmakers to create a modern and diverse reimagining of these iconic productions as both a tribute to the original work and as a mechanism to remind us of the power we have to tell stories and depict people in an inclusive and fulsome manner.
I hate these people.
Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer at Warner Brothers Discovery.
Karen.
By the way.
Her name's Karen.
How much do you make?
Of course it is.
I think it's a man. Asif Sadiq.
It's not Karen?
There's another one that was a Karen.
There's a Karen in here?
There's a Karen in here somewhere. The features filmmakers were selected by DEI industry veterans. How long has it been around that there's already industry veterans in the diversity, inclusion, and equity industry?
A lot of people think that DEI and ESG is a sort of a new thing, but it's just new names that are for the same thing that's been around for a while now.
Senior Vice President of DEI in North America, Karen Horn.
Karen.
In collaboration
Literally
with
the Karen that runs the world.
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to shout out a tweet I saw talking about the Longhouse, and Andrea Mew has made an article about this before explaining it. Yep. I hope you read that on Evie, but this like really put it perfectly. Some have asked, what is the Longhouse? Well, here you go. The ubiquitous spirit of female school marms avatared by behind-the-scenes creatures such as this in every industry. Producers, editors, HR, ensuring the three great neo-virtues are always and everywhere enshrined. Tolerance, non-offensiveness, and above all, the equity-oriented transfer of all value, material and immaterial, from those who have to those who have not, until total homogeneity is achieved. The last word is key to understanding the telos here. Yep. Total flatness, total sameness, a woman's instinct to love and provide for all her children equally, with a bit of favoritism for the freakish deformed one who can't read or do basic math, overlaid onto all of society.
Yep.
That's what this is. That's Karen Horn.
Yep. That's where we're going.
What was that from?
It's just a tweet thread I saw today.
Oh, okay.
They want everyone. They live in this utopian fantasy that we will one day all be exactly equal, as long as they take from everyone else quick, like for a long enough period of time. It will be pushed down to everyone who doesn't have, and somehow they will all magically, do exactly what they need to do with each of those opportunities, and we'll all end up the same.
Super chat from Shane H. Wilder. A Star is Born is a remake of a remake of a remake of a remake. Lady Gaga in 2018, Barbara Streisand in 1976, Judy Garland in 1954, and the original with Janet Gaynor and Frederick March in 1937.
Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So,
and I'm sure with each iteration it gets sanitized from the last one.
And that's the most upsetting part, is like you can make good movies. Not everyone liked Nope from Jordan Peele, the Alien movie, but you can make movies with a diverse cast. And
sure,
they can be original and they can be good, but these that's the most upsetting part, is you're just taking stuff that wasn't yours, dude, and you just tweaking a few casting decisions is not impressive.
Got a super chat from who is this?
Nate Garland. Maybe he's related to Judy Garland.
I am Robin, place of disenfranchised minorities, she, they, who steals from the middle class and gives to the state. Together with my very merry men and women and others, we will protect diversity for the greater good.
Thank you.
Thank you for the second crisis party.
Remember, we don't just have the Lost Boys now. We have the Lost Boys and
the
girls.
Lost Bays. Not your pixie, said Brett. Since you hate compliments, your enthusiasm and voice are keeping me from chores. Damn you.
I thank you. I think.
That gravelly
I
tenor.
My enthusiasm is not very high today, but that's because I can barely breathe. It's fantastic. Also, but you know what I hate? I hate the trope that men do nothing but complain when they get sick.
Well, I think that trope exists because they wait until they're actually deathly ill to complain.
Yeah. Well, now would be a perfect time to talk about friggin' Andrew Tate, but that's what I'm saying, Brett. Oh, God.
Keep going. Go ahead.
Oof.
Oh.
I muted myself there, so we should be fine.
We need cough buttons in this show.
Yep.
Clearly.
No, but yeah, man. I know the fans love you, but you gotta take care of yourself.
Creative Juice in the chat says crisis parties suck without audio.
Oh yeah.
Well, we have a really good one that I helped. I barely helped Brett, but I did help you.
You gave me the idea for the Alec Baldwin one. That's gonna be.
We have an Alec Baldwin one.
That's
just.
I love that. Okay.
I mean, I could.
Is it from his voicemail to his 12-year-old daughter? Yeah. Oh yes, I love this. Okay, I love it already.
It's mixed with him and the one of Mel Gibson yelling at his wife.
Amazing. Amazing.
And then the one that
hopefully no N-words
Did it not?
Wait, what's wrong?
No, you're just.
Are you muted?
We're probably picking you up over here.
Yeah, I muted myself. You'd have been picking it up on other microphones. I made those, but I did start to feel a bit like I was torturing everyone in a way that wasn't necessarily fun for anyone but me. I could turn the audio back up right now.
Torturing people was the fun part.
I mean, it is, but maybe I'm just being a bit wishy-washy right now because I don't feel great. So,
That's okay.
Look, I do have a question. Is Robin Hood a communist?
The
answer is no.
No.
Why not?
The answer is no. Because he does.
I mean, he's just a robber.
Yes. I asked. I was
Are all burglars communists?
but no, because they keep it for themselves.
There's
he doesn't keep it for himself.
Here's one of my.
Everyone spends money, and therefore you're distributing it throughout society.
Says, he never sought to. This is a fantastic explanation that makes me laugh. It's from somebody on Quora who lists themselves as a quote. Get this, young libertarian socialist anarchist. I don't know how one is both a libertarian and a socialist, but
you can be anything you want these days.
Yes, it says Robin Hood, at least according to the legends and stories, robbed from the rich and gave to the poor, which basically translates to robbing noblemen and merchants and giving his prizes away. But if he was a communist, and then somebody says, if he was a communist, then so were the founding fathers of the United States who rebelled against the government because of unfair taxes, which they thought the local citizens should keep.
So I think what they mean by libertarian socialist is he's working for himself to do socialist things, that's what makes him libertarian.
He was Robin Hood was absolutely.
What if Robin Hood went to a Bernie rally
to steal his money? To steal his $1 million because he's a famous author now?
He could borrow, he could go shoot arrows at one of his 3 houses.
What if Robin Hood had squatters' rights at one of Bernie's houses?
He would rent an Airbnb. He wouldn't leave.
Yeah, exactly.
And if he was stealing he was stealing from the rich, meaning that the government, and giving it back to the people, then he's my hero. He's a tax hero.
I wonder if AOC has beachfront properties.
Probably.
She has a Tesla that she parks illegally.
Oh yeah? Do you know this from personal witnessing?
No, but I've heard that that's the case.
That's the
that
word
she likes
on the
to
street.
she likes to park it wherever she wants. But then again, it's New York, so why are you even driving around in New York anyway?
I have one more thing that I want to talk about real quick, and that's Steven Spielberg. This was a very interesting article where Steven Spielberg says that he regrets editing out guns from E.T. for the 20th anniversary edition, says that they shouldn't be going back and changing products retroactively.
Well, it's too late now.
It's way too late now. But what's funny about this
I didn't know that he did that.
Yeah, so what's funny about this, I'm going to read you his quote. He says, "That was a mistake," Spielberg says. "I never should have done that. E.T. is a product of its era. No film should be revised based on the lenses we are in now, either voluntarily or being forced through peer pressure." Here's the thing. He says that, like cops, what he did is they edited out a scene where the cops chase a kid with guns, and replaces the guns with walkie-talkies. That's not updating for the modern era. You're just lying. They would do the same now.
Yeah.
Their procedure wouldn't be any different. So in a lot of ways, what he's saying is that they're less honest now for the sake of political correctness.
Well, from what I can remember, E.T. was talking about government tyranny in a way.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you want to show that accurately and what the threat behind it is?
I don't know. I thought that was
violence,
a pretty
right?
appropriate response by the government and police officers. I mean, there's a freaking alien
I'm
in
just saying
that residential
the
neighborhood.
message that it attempted to.
Oh yeah, because it was a kid's best friend and
yes.
everything.
And this is
but-
an extension.
I agree. I mean,
This is an extension of what they were saying in those DEI in Andre Mu's article, which is that they want to turn all art into a shapeless blob that has no content at all, that has no actual center, has no heart.
The gun thing's more nefarious than that. I get that for general, most of what we're seeing now, but the gun thing, I mean, they don't want. They think that they show a gun in a movie, and people are like, "Oh my god, I love guns now," and it's just not the case. It's a tool that people you see in your everyday life will use, have used. Like, I don't understand why they're trying to lie about what reality is. Police officers carry guns, and you better believe they're going to be holding those guns if there's an alien that they're chasing. You know, it's not going to be a little cute.
Yeah, but Hollywood is notoriously bad with not understanding how these things work. My favorite is when they do shoot to injure, which is not a real thing in the real world. They don't shoot to injure.
Yeah, why didn't you shoot him in the pinky?
Or those, yeah, why didn't you shoot him in the right tendon?
Why don't you shoot his gun out of his hand?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, but also shoot the tires, which is like if you've ever been in a car and held go and get into a car with like a coffee cup filled close to the top, and then you start to realize how much that car actually moves,
of course,
up and down. So saying shoot the tires is not actually a realistic idea.
Not to mention, you don't want to just be firing rounds off as you're driving through streets. It's it's dangerous.
Like one thing that really, I think we ended up talking about it when Pellegrino was here. I was like, I watch how bad they are at handling guns and not understanding any of the basic principles of firearm safety, and then you wonder why they are the way they are. Right, like then you like, oh well, it makes sense that they're scared of them because they don't go out of their way to understand them.
No, not even remotely. Not even remotely.
It's so he says nobody should ever attempt to take the chocolate out of Willy Wonka ever. Spielberg joked. He added on a more serious note. For me, it's sacrosanct. It's our history. It's our cultural heritage. I do not believe in censorship in that way. I wonder what he actually believes censorship is okay.
I was just gonna say, he's trying to downplay what he did, and I don't want to be too critical because I'm glad he's barely pushing back, but he should have just been completely be like, yo, 2020 was friggin' crazy, right? You had a mob, an internet mob or a physical mob.
Like, I was afraid. I was afraid for my career, so I made a move that was wrong.
Exactly.
And it was selfish,
exactly,
not altruistic.
And he's really being disingenuous here.
Take accountability for what your motivations were at the time.
Here's what the rest of the quote is. It says, E.T. was a film. I was sensitive to the fact that federal agents were approaching kids with firearms exposed, and I thought I would change the guns into walkie-talkies. Years went by, and I changed my own views. Spielberg continued, I should have never messed with the archives of my own work. I don't recommend anyone do that. All our movies are a kind of signpost of where we were when we made them, what the world was like when and what the world was receiving when we got those stories out there. So I really regret having that out there, which is what they want. What they want is a world where in 20 years all movies will be so homogenous you won't even be able to tell when they were made because they're all going to have the same bland, politically correct, completely docile tone.
Yep. I would remake E.T. and I'd replace the cops with like a couple Apache helicopters, maybe a couple M1 Abrams, and just send the full force of the military after E.T.
City.
Yeah. The whole armada's going.
We need to have go through a trend where they go through and make it worse.
Sorry, we're messed up. What do you think of Charlotte's Web? On that note,
what about Charlotte's Web?
I
enjoyed the movie when I was a kid. I haven't seen it in probably a decade.
I guess somewhat similar ethical question. Like, should what was the pig's name? Oh my goodness.
Don't remember.
It was something.
Also,
I don't know.
Remember that this is the same.
Was it right to want to kill the pig?
Just remember,
You're on a farm, so yes.
This is the same director who wouldn't put subtitles in West Side Story because we should just all know Spanish. Remember, he's not based. He's not in any way.
I don't mind that.
Wait,
though.
what did he say
I don't
again?
mind that. I think it is on the audience to understand what they're watching.
Wait, what did he say?
Yes.
No.
Yes, it is.
Through subtitles?
Dude, I don't want someone to dumb something down for me.
Wait, no. What did he say?
He wouldn't when they spoke Spanish in the West Side Story remake. He refused to put English subtitles on the screen because I guess
How much Spanish was there?
I didn't see it.
West Side, there was a fair amount, but it wasn't crazy. I mean, because you have what was her name, Maria?
You can contextually gather
right?
it.
Maria.
No, it does not matter. You want as many people as possible to
Spanglish.
understand that movie.
I mean,
And
are you gonna watch?
I disagree because
Parasite
this completely
without subtitles because
No, because I'm
don't
not
deserve
a Korean
any?
speaker, so I haven't watched that movie to be honest. Like I think like for a good
Really?
example of Dark is when you try to watch it dubbed over in English, it completely
I was
ruins
literally
the show.
watching Dark dubbed over yesterday.
It completely ruins the show. Like, I'm sorry, but like if you want to maintain good art, like we always talk
It
about,
does not ruin the show.
it's just another way
First
you're
of all,
catering to an audience.
This is mass marketed Hollywood
How did
art,
you
which
know? How did
is
you catch
barely
me?
counts as art these days.
Not well, West Side. We're talking about West Side Story, which was what
20
80s?
Another
21
woke,
West Side
it was just
Story.
another
Oh, it's the
woke
new one.
remake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. He wouldn't put Spanish subtitles in the movie because he felt that it was that the white people should just they're used to getting their way, and you shouldn't just kowtow to them. But it's a movie you released in a majority white country that a lot of them might not speak the language. If you want to reach as many people as possible, they have to be able to understand what the hell you're saying.
Is that the goal? Is the goal to reach as many reach as many people, or is it to create a really good piece of art? What's his goal? What is Steven Spielberg? Should he try to create the best thing?
I
he
don't
can
buy for a
create?
second that excuse he just gave you is because he wants to
What
make
does
good art.
this?
It's
What
woke virtue
does
signaling.
subtitles have to do with the
Because-
quality of the art?
Because basically, without the subtitles, you wouldn't be able to as an English speaker, as an American, right? You wouldn't understand the Spanish being spoken, so you wouldn't understand the scene without subtitles.
Yes. But
And
it's
I'm
the
saying
same
tough.
scene whether you have subtitles or not.
Correct.
It
And
doesn't degrade the quality
Exactly.
of the art to put subtitles
I
on
think
it.
well, I'm saying that decision, if he didn't want to put subtitles on it, whatever.
He didn't
Tough.
do it for art reasons. He did it for social justice reasons.
Maybe.
No,
but
I love how much of a contrarian you are, Kellen. You're great.
No,
you're great at this.
This is something like you got to pick and choose your battles.
Well, at
and
least you're wrong with conviction.
upset of like I would not care if like there are shows, I can't think of any off the top of my head where there's been Spanish scenes and they don't include subtitles.
You know what? Let's
They
catch
don't.
up on some super chats.
No, keep going because I'm looking up this quote. Hold on.
You're
keep,
looking up.
keep making your contrarian point.
I'm just saying like it's honestly, as an English speaker, as an American, every other country in this world knows English, and we're like one of the when you're born
yeah, but
in
we're
America.
not watching. We're watching it here in America.
Okay.
And it was
But you-
marketed mainly to Americans.
And okay, so that's on Steven Spielberg, but I'm saying that the actual just idea of like if you're
Steven
someone
Spielberg refused to subtitle Spanish in West Side Story for the important reason the director didn't want to give English the power over the
Okay,
Spanish.
that is stupid.
Kick rocks, douche canoe.
that's a stupid reason. But
What
if he was
what if
just
he
like,
put Spanish subtitles on all of the English?
I'd say no.
On all the English scenes.
I'd say no. Also
What if he
no.
did
I mean, I would be fine with them doing
You'd be
that
fine with that?
for showings. Yeah, like if we're supposed to expect that the people who are living here don't speak English yet, I don't know. Like I don't.
I think that's
if I went to
offensive.
If I went to a foreign country, I wouldn't expect there to be subtitles in my language.
I
Correct.
do because
Correct.
English is the world dominating language now.
Is it? Is it still the #1 spoken?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
But the point is, But we're not in another country. We're in America,
Sure.
where the subtitles make sense.
English
to have.
only, USA. English only,
I'm just
USA.
saying, like, I wouldn't want Spanish subtitles. I wouldn't want English subtitles if that's like, it's the same kind of sentiment for me. You know, it's just let the people speak in the scene. I don't need, and if I want to learn more about the scene
There are
and I want to
varying-
understand it more, then I'll look up the words in Spanish.
There are varying levels of attention that I want to pay to something I'm watching at different times.
Yeah.
Sure.
So if I don't want to pay as much attention, I'd rather have it dubbed.
I watch everything with subtitles on because I can't hear. So
No,
doesn't
you're
matter.
just a zoomer with no attention span.
that too. Yep.
Okay, we've got super chats
All right,
to catch up on.
Let's do it.
Alex making beds and writing novel on the side said, "You need to take care of yourselves. I need my PCC." Well, I'm sorry, but those interests are in conflict right now.
It's yes, we're struggling.
Ryle Kittenhouse said, "Getting new tires. I get to watch live."
Excellent.
Thank you for being here. Araftas Ostet said, "It's kind of funny that these big companies keep seeing mistakes made by their competitors, but turn around and make the same mistakes. Get woke, go broke. Am I right?"
Reminds me of when...
It's not mistakes, though. It's
at
on
one
purpose.
point, Marvel was the super woke comic brand, and it was awful. And DC was more tolerable. The comics, not the movies. And then DC just went off the deep end with theirs, so it made no sense.
Urashima Otaru said, "People are too emotion driven for it to not be cheating."
Thoughts?
I mean, cheating isn't really about emotions. It's about like an objective definition of what constitutes an exclusive relationship.
And there was a $20 one there from Clef the Misfit.
But we
That just came
not
in.
read it? Oh, Clef the Misfit said, "Every other country knows English. Kellen, I demand you come to Miami and find out how wrong you are. This is an American city and almost no one here speaks English. You think they speak English in Latin America?"
Yes, I do think so. I think obviously there's no rule that applies to everyone perfectly, but if you took the average person out of Latin America, they'd understand more English than if you took the average American. They wouldn't know Spanish, right? The average American knows less Spanish than the average Latin American knows
True.
English.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
was
like-
my
But
point.
that's for a reason.
But also, like, that was like when I
Because
I
America's
realized that-
better,
Yeah.
bitch.
we export, right?
Yes. Sorry.
I remember that's like
I'm being
in,
toxic today.
in Spain, a lot of them, they could read and write English, but they couldn't speak it. Mm-hmm. So
Really?
yeah.
I mean,
That's
pretty much the
interesting.
rest of the globe has like way more grasp, like bilingualism than we do.
That's because we're over here being awesome, sectored off from the rest of the world, and those Canadians
'Cause we're
are the French.
better.
The French Canadians are farther out.
So there's this show, I forget what the show is called by Apple, but it's filmed in like multiple countries, like in Germany, America, somewhere in Latin America, and each like scene that it's filmed in those places, it's in that native language. I think it does have subtitles, but I think that is amazing in terms of a piece of art. It's unique.
If you live in
It's-
America and you release a movie that has a large chunk of it spoken in a foreign language, and then you wonder why nobody went to see your movie because they could only understand half of the discussion, I hope your art keeps you warm at night.
It's like one of those.
Well,
it's like
it
people
does.
who actually like sat down and read Game of Thrones versus just watching the show. Those books are how long? And so if you actually spent the time and invested in it,
he didn't
it's a
spend
better
the money
story.
to make this movie. The studio spent the money, so he's taking a large
yes,
stance
after
on
you
this.
read the quote,
on
BS, dumb Spielberg.
power over the Spanish.
Anyway, No Tax Good Tax said, "Does Mary just want us to get rid of all fictional television? I think
Thoughts?
you fundamentally misunderstood me. I want you to get rid of all of the sex scenes in fictional television. And guess what? You're not going to lose any of the plot if you do so. Everyone will be better off for it." David Tavares said, "If Brett was married, would simping for other women be considered cheating?"
Is that the?
Well, Brett's not married.
Yeah, so that's
And I didn't eat breakfast today, so sorry. Well, I mean, it would not be appreciated by the hypothetical wife.
It wouldn't be very kind. Let's hold off on the rest, and we will come back after we get
Okay.
through. Mary, tell us about The Good Doctor.
Yes, so this clip resurfaced on Twitter over the week, and it's from The Good Doctor, one of their episodes from the first season back in 2018. It features a transgender minor patient in the show who identifies as a girl but is biologically male, and they find out that this patient has testicular cancer. And the protagonist of the show, Sean Murphy, is an autistic male who I guess doesn't know the social boundaries and accidentally points out the truth that this person is male. So how about we just watch the clip and you'll understand what we're talking about here.
If we get copyright on this, I might have to delete this out of the replay.
Yeah, fair warning.
Boy, I'm a girl.
You're transgender?
Yes.
No, Quinn has XY chromosomes like
It's a
Jared,
bummer
and
because
me,
I love
not
Christina
XX
Chang,
like
that
you.
actress.
Science says he's male.
No.
What about the
Quinn
actor?
has gender dysphoria. Her assigned gender is not the one she identifies with. She's mismatched, Dr. Murphy.
But biologically,
Other than biologically, how do you know you're supposed to be a boy?
your question doesn't make sense. I'm not supposed to be anything. I am a boy. Biologically, that's it.
Okay, deep.
Oh, nice excuse. Sure, you don't got an answer, so you fake being
wins.
sick.
Bernie's point could be acute appendicitis.
Is that the most important part?
Well, keep going, keep
Murphy,
going.
get imaging to confirm.
Hello. Do you wear dresses?
Murphy? Don't.
Quinn is a boy who thinks he's a girl. I want to know why he thinks that.
Sometimes I wear dresses, but sometimes I wear leggings.
Do you like the color pink?
I'm more of a purple girl.
Do you play with dolls?
Since I was 5, but I'm super into mermaids.
Do you take dance?
Murphy, 20 questions are up.
I only asked 4. Do you wear
Doesn't
perfume?
matter. CT's ready. Let's
Do
go.
you always paint your nails?
Let's go.
Thoughts?
So people are calling this incredible because it aged poorly. What was meant to be a piece of propaganda in favor of child transition and minors' ability to assert their identity as the opposite gender is now very telling in the opposite direction. We can tell that the doctor here is just the one who's not hindered in his ability to tell the truth.
I watched The Good Doctor. I'm not caught up. I don't know if it's still airing, but I watched the first 3 or 4 seasons. So I remember this episode, and I was surprised when it started making the rounds again because it's a few years old.
Yes.
Definitely before, like, if I'm not mistaken, it was before the
from
COVID.
2018.
Yeah, before the COVID craziness and all that. So I think at the time it was honestly just honest commentary about the issue. I don't know if it was as much propaganda because honestly the way the show and this episode kind of ended up, it's like he was right.
Well, here, play the rest of the clip because I think that shows that this is actually a way that they're shaming or scolding
you gotta
him.
quit calling her a he. We're never going to win this competition if you're disrespecting our patient. Don't they have transgender people in Wyoming?
Okay. Transgender patient care was not part of my medical school curriculum. Was it part of yours?
No.
Quinn doesn't have appendicitis. He has testicular cancer.
Wait, no, play the rest.
She.
So
Look, you're scolding the character.
But that's the character's job. But I think the bigger thing to take away is, did your medical school have transgender healthcare? And even the British dude was like, no.
He was like, no, I'm making this up as I go along based on my ideological
And so I
beliefs.
think this was like an attempt to have an actual honest conversation at the trend they were seeing in the United States, because it's like it doesn't matter in a medical setting. What matters is your biological sex.
I mean,
right?
you're giving it too much credit. I think I want to read some reactions to this. One person quote tweeted it and said, "The autistic white male is taught the nuances of the current political propaganda by a diverse cast of his enlightened betters." I think that's how it was intended to be watched. I mean, even the way that the transgender character says, "How do you know you're supposed to be a boy?" And then the female doctor looks to him like,
yeah, her face was the most annoying part of that whole
how
thing.
do you know?
Got you.
Gotcha, bitch.
I mean, he's a doctor. The rest of them are just ideological tools.
And another tweet said that later in the episode, it's revealed the boy turns out to have testicular cancer. What is left unsaid is that it's likely due to the cross-sex hormones his Munchausen's by proxy mother fed him to ensure his testicles would not properly drop.
So, but think about it this: without Sean Murphy in the show as a character and pushing back, you could argue the doctors would have never found out that this person had testicular cancer, right?
I mean, they were going to do the same scan, right?
They were all going along with, you said you're a girl, so you're a girl. And
so it's appendicitis.
It's appendicitis, right? So I think, I mean, it could just be a neutral take that the show took. We'll never know unless the writers addressed it.
It's never neutral when it comes from Hollywood. It's always ideologically charged.
In 2018, maybe. That's what I'm saying. This was before all the craziness really was unleashed from the gates.
No, it wasn't.
Transgenderism started getting peddled as an issue in like as early as 2012, if not earlier.
In Hollywood, though?
Yeah, by the entertainment industry. So, I mean, I'm just reading one article from IndieWire that was released at the time analyzing the situation. They said hiring, I think this actor's name is Sophie Gianamore. At the time, this was a minor, now is an adult actor, still transgender identified. Hiring Gianna Moore is just the latest smart casting move by a show that is set out to give better representation to marginalized people on screen. When Highmore, who plays Sean Murphy, a neurotypical actor, was initially cast to play a surgeon who has autism and savant syndrome, critics felt that an actor with autism should have been tapped, despite Highmore's acclaimed portrayal. Since then, however, the show has continued with its diverse casting in all roles and even featured an actor with autism to play a patient who has autism. And they said that having Gianna Moore play the part lends specificity and accuracy to the role. The actress first came out as transgender at age 11 in a YouTube video.
Oh.
I went to look at that YouTube video, which was hyperlinked, and it is now unavailable.
Really?
Including talking about how she used puberty blockers, which is detail given to her character Quinn as well. And it's important that she is still a child in the show, one who has been able to assert her own identity when many would write her feelings off as merely confused immaturity. But now we know, as this discourse has progressed, that it is exactly that. The character Quinn in the show even has a grandmother who is saying exactly that it's just a phase. And what the viewers are supposed to learn in their moral lesson from the show is that it's not a phase, Mom. It's who I really am.
It's the emo music of
so it
medical
totally,
diagnosis.
yeah, exactly. And it totally is, in my opinion, meant to be shaming and scolding the autistic male for pointing out the truth about this person's biological reality.
So, I get it, but the one line that's tripping me up in that clip is just he asked the other doctor, did your medical school curriculum have transgender care? And if the show was truly trying to do what you did, that would have been a yes. We covered it. Instead, he said, no, we didn't. So I don't like that is the one that line is tripping me up, and it's just like that's why I almost like think it's a neutral take just to have an input on the conversation. They're not doing anything too crazy, but they are presenting both sides.
I get that. I get what you're pointing out there.
But besides this, the show's pretty good. I thought it was an interesting premise from the get-go. You know, you have a savant as a doctor. Terrible bedside manner, but then he does, you know, because of this savant syndrome, he's like Dr. House in a way.
Yeah,
he's the only guy that can solve some of the stuff.
There's an episode of House where like they think he's got Asperger's because he's such a bad.
He's just a bad person.
and Cuddy goes like, hey, House doesn't have Asperger's. It's a much simpler solution. He's a jerk. Like, and it reminds me.
Not all people who lack empathy are autistic.
It also reminds me of an episode of House where they have the Pruitt Taylor Vince's character is like 600 pounds, and they keep looking for causes of why he's sick related to the fact that he's fat as hell. And it ends up being lung cancer, despite the fact that he never smoked in his life.
Yeah.
So it's irony.
A cruel mistress.
Yeah.
I think that this scene was meant to be received a certain way, and is now being reinterpreted in a time when we have a lot more information available to us. Even in this short span of like 4 or 5 years, people are commenting saying, I love his response to the question, how do you know you were supposed to be a boy? And he's like, I just am. I never had to ask myself why I'm a girl or dwell on the fact. The fact is I'm a girl. There's no changing it even if I wanted to. It's stupid to constantly be wondering the why behind our very identity. People need to learn to accept who they are and embrace it. That's not, I think, the message that was intended to be imbibed from the scene.
I mean, it's the scariest part is that it pushes, in a way, a bit of a narrative that a doctor is going to ignore. Like, it's scary to think that there are doctors in the real world that are going to ignore possible solutions to your problems because they're ideologically inclined and not medically inclined.
I don't think we have to worry about that yet. The key word is yet, because the people growing up with this stuff are the people that will become future doctors. I think that anyone that's a doctor right now that went through medical school, I think they've avoided kind of a lot of this nonsense. But we will have to worry about our future doctors and our children's doctors, because they're going to be people who might have transgender health care in medical school that they're going to. You know, that might be, I think that is a new course in certain schools. So I think we need to be careful. We need to tread lightly. And, you know, Ben Shapiro said facts don't care about your feelings. Well, especially when it comes to medicine.
Yeah, doctors, like a doctor doesn't need to care about your feelings. They need to make sure you don't die.
I think that we should all start pretending to have autism when people try to cancel us. Like, oh, sorry,
I don't know any
have
better.
I didn't know any better.
I'm pretty bad with eye contact. Let's go.
I'm bad with eye contact, and I don't register other humans' emotions. So,
Yep.
sorry. Thought you were male.
I was at the drive-thru today, and the guy was just like, he was freaking out because the card reader wouldn't boot up, and I was just sitting there. I was like, I don't want to small talk to this guy. I was like, what am I gonna say? Nice weather we're having. Oop,
I think
hate
it just
when the
stresses
card reader
them out
broke.
more.
Yeah, but then he's just freaking. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's cool. I'm just sitting. I'm chilling. You know.
The reason they freak out is because there are like countless people who would freak out on them and have freaked out on them for the same reason or less. So
yeah.
I can like see the PTSD flashbacks.
Yeah, I was just sitting patiently, and it was.
I wish everyone wasn't in such a hurry all the time. On another note.
Yeah, it's hard not to be.
Just like how everyone's mad all the time, like you said.
Is everyone really mad all the time?
Yes.
Seems like it.
I think your phone makes you more mad. Like, I find my phone doesn't make me mad, but it definitely affects my mood. I'm a lot happier when I'm in the real world. In fact, some of the rare experiences where I do get frustrated is like when we're doing the show and we're talking about something that's particularly frustrating. But in general, if I'm out in the world, in the real world, I don't find that I'm all that angry of a person. It's just that we're being fed nonstop news and propaganda to make us mad all the time.
That's true, and it's just like we've known since the 70s and 80s that like news would get more viewers when there was a car chase or they're reporting on a murder or anything like that. So we know that negative news had like just more people are interested and tune into negative news than they do positive news. Like this is not a new phenomenon. The only thing that's new is the news is on our phones right in our pockets now, not at a TV that doesn't move.
And a lot of people don't realize that like you become more invested in news that makes you angry because it feels somehow more important. Stories that are positive are by nature considered more frivolous.
Right.
That's why I follow so many of the propagandistic good news accounts on Instagram because they balance out the negative of the world. It's like this person found a gazillion dollars on the ground and returned it to the person who lost it. And I love stories like that.
High trust society.
It's like when Mr. Beast got the waitress a car.
Yep.
And he got roasted for it.
Well, he always gets in trouble for helping people, for being a good person.
Right. And it's ridiculous. Someone said they're off in the chat. Someone said they're off social media and happier because of it. And I agree. Like I force myself to not even touch my phone when I get off work now, and it's helping. I'm like, there's no point. I'm like, I'm not gaining anything because of it.
Yeah.
The relationships and the friendships that I care about are in person. I can go and visit those people.
There's a lot of addiction to cell phones and to news and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and all of these platforms. I struggle with doom scrolling all the time. Like yesterday was a little bit bad because I wasn't feeling well, so I was just laying in bed
scrolling.
And,
wasting precious wallowing time.
Yeah, and eventually I passed out because I wasn't feeling well. But
oh yeah, he couldn't get his Rex Kwon Do in because he was sick.
Yeah, so I mean that is. I'll be fair to what Kellen's saying. That is probably as close to nuance as you're gonna get in from Hollywood these days. That might be the closest you're. Just the fact that they were able to point out the fact that it was a matter of his biological sex that caused the problem, thus bringing to light the complications that could arise from transgender care. Even that little bit of nuance is something I wouldn't expect from them today.
Mm-hmm.
Not after 2020. We're never going to see anything remotely close to that. You can't even offer like the other side of the argument. You're not even allowed to mention it. Yeah.
And anybody they did would be portrayed as stupid and evil and very uncultured.
In 2023, that would be the season finale, and it would end with him losing his job
or getting like executed by the state. All right, lethal injection time.
All right, we got some social media. We got some
socialism.
We got that too. We've got some super chats, Mary.
Bullet Shepherd said, "Go for the gold. Kissing scenes are cheating too. You wouldn't kiss another person, not your SO outside of a movie. Don't do it at all."
Wait, what? What? Could you read it again?
Go for the gold. Kissing scenes are cheating too. You wouldn't kiss another person, not your SO outside of a movie.
Would you have a serious, deep, emotional discussion about love with somebody who's not your significant other? Is that cheating?
I agree.
Or is it the physical
guys,
connection?
This is what I'm talking about. Like, we don't understand what human nature is or what sexuality is, so we're all acting obtuse about it. Everyone knows that sex is different from every other human interaction and that it is more sacred than all of the other human interactions. Therefore, it is off the table.
But they're not actually having sex in these scenes for the most part.
Okay, but they're simulating sex for the purpose of pornographic material.
Romantic material, maybe.
No, it's not.
Rom-coms, like a lot of times.
Watch gangbang scenes in Euphoria or something.
I don't.
And tell
Well,
me that
Euphoria,
that's about
I
romance.
specifically
I
don't.
mean,
I don't. Euphoria, I
sex
won't
scenes
watch.
are not about romance. They're about shock factor. It's at times mandated by studios. They're
Maybe.
not. They do not have any artistic integrity or meaning or value for the plot or anything. Nothing.
It depends
There's no
on what the
reason
movie is.
any movie or show would need to have a sex scene. It's just like Tarantino's.
Well, the super chat's not even talking about sex. They're talking about kissing. So you're
Yeah,
saying
what I said is like sex is fundamentally different from all other human interactions, which includes kissing. Then we should treat it differently. It's like men and women are different, so we treat them differently.
I don't think they're having sex on camera though. It's pretend. It's not real.
Okay, but it's still, you're simulating the human interaction of sex, which is the one we're dealing with.
But
right
I
now.
understand. But at the end of the day, it is not that genuine connection that you're talking about. It is a simulation.
Well, if anything,
it's a fake version of it.
You're cheapening it, which is still wrong.
Maybe I'll agree with you there, but I don't think like they're not actually performing the act, and therefore I don't think it's that big of a deal. Now, that's being said, we're not talking about porn here. We're talking about movies in Hollywood that are PG-13.
At times, honestly, the same thing, whether it's on Pornhub or on Netflix. It's never worth anything artistically, in my opinion. Halls and the Kid said, I'm with Mary on the relationship topic. Allowing boundaries to be subjective has been insidious in the degradation of society. Moral decay is real. Thank you, Jessica. Stick it together. Andrew Jacobs said, lots of based podcasters and Bertman's wife are sick. Maybe it's the same disease.
What if they found
Who's
out
patient
how
zero?
to transmit virus through electrical connection or internet?
You sound schizophrenic.
I'll replace the good doctor.
Jetstorm39 said, have you guys seen the new Transformers, what is this? Return of the Beast? Is that what it was? Yeah, trailer. I'm so hyped to eat the Planet Eater.
Rise of the Beast.
Rise of the Beast. Eat the Planet Eater unicorn and Pablo, #Pablo gang. I know y'all won't get the Pob gang.
I haven't seen it yet. I watched.
There's a new one?
There's a new trailer for it. Yeah, the movie comes out in July.
I saw the other one and I was like, I don't care.
It seems like Planet of the Apes, but Transformers.
I'm fine with it. I mean, I like all the Transformers movies. I even like Bumblebee. So
seems lame as hell. Ryan Cannell said, "Get well soon, y'all. Pup culture crisis. Hail."
Yep.
Patriot said, "Only Chihuahuas and Zolos can wear that outfit."
The dog in the in the PCC thing earlier. Do one more and then let's move on.
Hiroshima Otaru said, Robin Hood stole from the state, gave to the people.
Good. He should. All right. Let us move on. All right. We've got That's So Racist.
That's so racist.
Yes.
Recently, an actress who was on That's So Raven, I believe she's on Raven's Home now, Annalise Vanderpool, went on a podcast, one of many, talking about her experiences on the show. And she basically accused the showrunners of racism. This podcast that she was on is run by an actress who was on Even Stevens. And I just want to say before anything, there is such an oversaturation of podcasts being made by former Disney and Nickelodeon stars talking about being on these shows. And it's like the least interesting thing ever.
Yeah. There's a $20 one right there.
Yeah. One from 1,000 Foot Deep End. It's already beginning. Planned Parenthood gave Steven Crowder birth control because the urine sample he provided triggered a positive pregnancy test. If a man's urine does that, it's a sign of testicular cancer.
Is that right?
Am I like...
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm like, am I just like having a stroke? I don't feel well, so I don't know, like, what?
I think they're saying there's some. So
wait, what?
Whatever chemical triggers a pregnancy test, I think that chemical signifies.
Wait.
You might have cancer in your balls.
Wait, why is this being discussed?
Because I think I don't want to spread rumors because it's a very serious thing, but I think this guy is saying Steven Crowder might be at risk for it. I haven't heard that before.
I'm not laughing at testicular
I think
cancer.
you're laughing at Crowder's balls. I think that's exactly what you're doing.
I think we need to just start over. Okay. So, Annalise Vanderpool, who played Chelsea on That's So Raven, said that the showrunners were racist because they didn't consider Raven at first to be the lead of the show. They wanted her to be the sidekick. So let's just play the clip.
There's a $20 one.
Okay. I'm dying.
He's so over it.
Francisco Sanchez Jr. said, Gasper knows our...
Crisis party. Thank you guys.
Crisis party.
I'm so glad you're laughing at me.
I need something to wipe my tears off my face.
This is awesome.
Sorry.
You want me to read it, Mary?
We should.
Yes.
Okay, Francisco Sanchez Jr.
Let's restart the topic from the top.
Well, we need to read the super chat.
Read the super chat.
Helen.
Gasper Noe's art movie Love had actual sex between the leads, and it did nothing for me. Well, I'm sorry that you weren't aroused by that particular movie scene, but that is interesting that they actually had sexual intercourse between the actors and actresses.
Okay, so it's porn. So we covered that.
Yeah, I think you watched porn, dude.
Let's start this topic from scratch, Mary. How about that?
Sorry.
No?
Sorry. I can't pull it together.
You want me to do it?
No, okay.
I don't know anything about That's So Raven, but I could try.
Sorry.
You can do it.
So
I have faith in you.
Annalise Vanderpool played Chelsea on That's So Raven, and she recently went on a podcast where she accused the showrunners of racism because at first they did not expect Raven Simone to be the lead. They cast her as a sidekick in the show. So let's play the clip of her on the podcast where she's explaining what went down. But basically,
it's not a podcast, it's a podcast.
A podcast.
At the time, Raven wasn't the lead. She was the sidekick.
Hold on. It's not on screen because they're not sending their best today.
Because they're not sending their best at Pop Culture Crisis. They really aren't.
When I went into audition, the show was called Absolutely Psychic. It wasn't called That's So Raven at all. And at the time, Raven wasn't the lead. She was the sidekick.
That's what? Oh my God!
What? Yes, but when they filmed, they realized that Raven was the funniest one. And I think that was
a meritocratic process got them a new lead.
Just
Holy
play
crap.
a damn clip.
Racism. Okay. They couldn't really see a black girl leading a show.
You're lying! She's lying!
They didn't even...
And not initially.
Yeah, they saw her as a sidekick.
You don't want to see Brett when he's angry.
I hate these people. These race-baiting garbage people.
So that really pissed you off, Brett.
Yeah, go off.
Well, it makes no sense. That's a huge logical fallacy. There's a gigantic leap to a show where she just simply wasn't supposed to be the lead to saying that it was because it's a bunch of Klan hood wearing mother effers that decided we can't. Like that doesn't make any sense.
And then rightfully they realized that Raven had what it took to be a lead and gave her that opportunity. So what's the problem? Where's the racism at?
Yes.
If they thought, oh, she has a lot of charisma, but she is black, so let's not give her a show.
That would be
racism.
Not giving the person the actual show. I hate these people. So much.
How do you do that metaphor? It's like if all you have is a
hammer, every problem is a nail.
Okay, if all you have is race baiting, then every problem is racism.
Yeah, right? It's literally the definition of meritocracy. She went in, she did the audition, she wowed them, and they gave her the role. It wasn't called "This is a show for not white people" or for white people starring one not white person.
Not even to mention all of its predecessors on TV already that were all black casts.
Family Matters existed long before this. Moesha existed long before this. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air existed long before this, you scumbags.
But here's the thing. Everyone needs to be the great unifier. That's what it is. No one actually cares about stopping what's the actual racism that might exist in today's world. People just want to seem noble and arrive on their horse.
It's just insane to me that this clip came out and everyone who watched it just instantly bought into the narrative that she was pushing. They didn't question it at all. They were like, yeah, it was racism. You're right. And just assumed that she had some insight into it that she did not have.
Why wasn't it sexism?
Yeah.
Why wasn't it sexism?
It's totally
or ableism.
Arbitrary.
Yeah.
I bet that this woman, when she walks into her apartment, she like goes into her bathroom and like pulls back her shower curtain expecting there to be racism there. Expecting there to be a Klan member inside her shower because she sees racism everywhere.
Yes. Like, and now I'm
what
glad
is the solution
that
for someone like
I'm
this?
glad that everyone in the chat is listing the shows that prove this scumbag wrong.
There are like too many examples to even name them all, but clearly this woman is
such a logical. It's such a logical.
The early 2000s is it feels like a long time ago, but it was not that long ago.
Nope.
And the culture has not progressed in some immense way. If anything, we've regressed. Yeah. We have devolved into a worse state than we were in the early 2000s, where we have to overthink it all the time. Would That's So Raven or anything equivalent get made today? I don't think it would, because it wouldn't have the charm and the innocence that it had in the early 2000s.
Nope, not at all. And this stuff is just... I also think this person's just a victim of being a victim of the news cycle, who this is what they're talking about now. And if they were talking about sexism, it would have been sexism. If they were talking about ableism, she would have called it ableism because Raven was half blind or something like that. It makes no sense.
And it's what we always talk about, an original character and a new story and a new project that's not a remake, it's not a reboot, it's not a reimagined version that's race swapped. This is exactly what we're asking for in this day and age, but they can't give it to us because we're too tragically, I guess, self-aware anymore to make something like that. So Raven, it's impossible.
Yep.
But yeah, like Raven Baxter was an original character. I don't think could be made today.
Yeah. I can't.
They could.
They
just
could,
won't.
but they're too. I think they're too mentally ill.
Yep.
This woman has been taken over by the board.
Well, it's also like this.
She has brain worms.
It's also like just we're not getting new writers in Hollywood. At least if we are, it's I can't tell.
Okay, at the time, Raven wasn't the lead. Tons of people get cast in things where they're not the lead, and then they come to a more prominent role.
Plus,
in there.
it's a Disney show. They're
nothing to do
always
with
ensembles.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of good storytellers and bright young people that are good actors and actresses, and those people need to be given a shot. They need to be given a chance because
she says, "I think it was racism at a low level."
Ridiculous.
So it wasn't a red light situation of racism. It was a yellow light situation of racism.
Play the clip again. I don't think she did say that.
I'm just reading what it says in this article.
I don't think she did say a low level in the clip.
Okay.
Unless it was edited out.
What?
But this is such a weird form of grifting where it's like I was on a program that is fondly remembered from the 90s or 2000s, and now I'm going to make a podcast where people pay me to siphon all of the innocence and charm that it once had out of it and tell you the ugly story, the ugly truth behind it, the seedy underbelly of the studio I was working for. When like we're already aware that Nickelodeon has a horrible past, we're already aware, and present, we're already aware that Disney is an evil mega corporation. You didn't need to reveal that to us. We can just fondly remember the shows that came from that time.
Yeah.
It is a grift. I mean, but it also makes perfect sense because we all know negative news is what sells best, And so what's the most negative news you could report on, right? Racism. It's so abhorrent. It's so terrible. I can't believe it still exists after everything that we've been through as a country. Well, you start talking about that, right? And then all of a sudden you're seen as noble or anything. You don't actually have to come up with unique or well thought out ideas. You don't have to digest anything mentally. You just, come up with a memory and say racism.
And here's this this actress talking about racism when she, I'm sure, has all of the inside details you can imagine about the actual evil things that were happening at Disney in that time and going forward that she could reveal to the public, and that would be valuable for us to know.
Right.
But she chooses to grift instead, and I just don't respect that. And I recently saw this story as well where Josh Peck and Tana Mojo were talking on his podcast, and he, briefly touched on his professional relationship with Dan Schneider, who we know is a PDF file, and just said, I just remember him as a tough boss. And then he kind of just moved on from it and didn't say anything else. He said also that he recorded an entire episode of his podcast with Jeanette McCurdy, interviewing her when her memoir came out, where she was talking all about Dan Schneider. And it never came out. It never got released.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I mean, I think he said it was because Jeanette McCurdy said she didn't want it to get released.
My theory is there's going to be
why?
something about Josh Peck that comes out that's very bad, because look, everyone surrounding him are very bad.
What, David Dobrik?
Drake Bell.
Drake Bell. Well, I mean,
Schneider.
he was kind of on the outs with Drake Bell for a long time.
Did you see that there was like a thing of
But
him
Drake
in the
Bell
news
was
today, like sucking on a helium balloon or something at the
Drake Bell was?
Yeah, it was.
What did he do?
I thought he got arrested.
Yeah, I don't know.
What did he do?
Maybe I'm imagining it. I'm kind of hallucinating. So it was something like
Brett, okay.
somebody took a picture of him in his car with like a balloon, like sucking on the air from a balloon, like to get high.
Oh, I think I remember that.
But they're saying that like I just saw something about that today. Like he's spiraling after he found out that his wife's divorcing him on Twitter.
Him and Bam Margera should have
They
a show
should do
together.
celebrity boxing.
Celebrity deathmatch.
How about celebrity
Drake
rehab?
Bell, Bam Margera.
And the winner doesn't have to go to rehab.
Wait, is Drake Bell the PDF file as well? I don't remember.
Probably.
There were allegations for sure.
Sounds like a horrible person.
Yeah, and then he had a weird a moment where he reinvented his career in Spain.
Did he?
Or something like I don't know.
It was super weird that he was the guy when they did the live action, not Timmy Turner, the Fairly Odd Parents, and he is like dressed like a 8-year-old boy, but he's grown. Drake Bell, he's like a grown ass dude. I don't know if you ever watched the live action, but it was weird. It was odd.
I definitely have a vague memory of that, but I didn't watch it when it came out. Yeah.
It's a sign of where our society is right now that we don't look for a different answer other than to go to the extreme possibility that it's something as bad as racism or some type of...
Yeah, how do we know she even wanted to be the lead?
I mean, I don't know if that's
she
really
auditioned.
She auditioned, but
but did she?
I'm saying she's putting words. This lady's putting words in the mouths, and she's ascribing intent to something good that happened.
Well, it's unconscious bias, Brett. So you don't even know you're doing it. You don't even know that you're racist and you're racist.
I can't even handle that in a normal day, let alone today. Yes, like it just further proves that there's nothing you can do that will ever stand the test of time. Everything you do will be judged harshly because it will be looked at through some lame critical lens by some douche canoe who read Robin DiAngelo's book, got really, really sad and embarrassed about the way they look, and decided to try to apply this garbage to something even the most positive of situations, which is that she applied for one job and got a better job because she was so good at what she does.
Yep.
I hate these people. And this is not Raven Simone's fault.
She hasn't even clarified what she thinks of this.
She is not. So this is not her fault. This is this lady and her weirdness's fault.
But she does have a transgender supporting role on Raven's home. So.
All right. Do you think this is the type of thing that'll go away in time? Do you think this will we'll ever get to a point in time where these things will not be cool to blame it on again?
I don't know if it'll be cool, but it's going to continue.
Yeah.
Might become less cool.
I
but
think you're gonna have like a bifurcation of people who swear off social media and be like, "Yo, it's like drinking, it's like doing hard drugs every
teetotalers,
day."
but for Twitter.
Yeah, there's gonna be people that swear off of it, and they're gonna have people who are just hooked up to it like an IV, and it's like, give me more social media, and, and you're gonna have, it's gonna completely split.
It's also tiresome and stupid, and this lady's
See,
just.
he feels like I do. Now you're getting it.
I mean, I've always felt this way. I just don't have it in me to pretend not to today.
Speaking of the Matrix, we've got a topic to move on to now. Andrew Tate had an extreme medical reaction to something
the Matrix
this morning, maybe his morning coffee, and he believes that he may have been poisoned. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, this was ridiculous. I tweeted out, dude, just use an EpiPen, bro, because
let's look at the tweet.
Clear cut allergic reaction, in my opinion.
He said, face swollen, blood pressure is through the roof, skin's on fire, hard to breathe, some sort of severe reaction or poison. Only had coffee and water so far today. All appeared in the last 5 minutes. Do you want to show that horrible selfie he took?
Yes, but I'm only going to put it on screen for a second because we might use this clip for social media later. So hold on. Here's the...
Oh.
This one?
Any number of them, honestly.
He showed like hives that were showing up all over his skin. I don't like the heavy breathing.
That's a symptom. So the hives, heavy breathing, getting hot, those are all symptoms of anaphylactic shock.
Then the next video he posted had the caption, eyes almost shut, gathering chi.
Yep.
And then someone else took control of his Twitter and said, Andrew is not allergic to anything. This has never happened before. He has only had water and coffee today, either an insect bite or some Matrix attack insanity in his bottled water. He's refusing doctors and is focusing on tea and breathing. We'll keep you all updated.
Mr. Tate, you can be allergic to insects.
4 hours ago, they said,
Andrew
Andrew's fine, says that pain is part of life. He says the doctor will inject him with who knows what and kill him. He's in lotus position and drinking tea. As long as he can breathe, he refuses medical attention. So far, so good. The question is where this came from.
Are there ticks in Romania?
So ridiculous. It doesn't matter.
Maybe not. I don't know.
People develop soy allergies in their 30s.
Do you think Andrew Tate is consuming soy?
I'm just saying, it could be anything. He was just locked in a prison cell for how many months? And it's spring.
Like isolated
it's
from
spring
everything.
now. Maybe he's just getting hit.
It's that
with,
high pollen count.
But either way, like those symptoms and that he's documenting are clear cut of anaphylaxis, right? The inflammation, the swelling of his eyes. He's feeling hot. The hives all over his body, the itchiness, the heavy breathing. All of that is symptoms of anaphylaxis. And it's like, dude, just take an EpiPen. Like, why are you trying to, this is the one part of Andrew Tate that I'm like,
because
this is toxic masculinity. This will get you killed.
If he used an EpiPen, then it would be injecting him with who knows what and could kill him.
What? It doesn't matter.
Think he ever is like, he does that thing like when you're having a bad day and you're going out and your belt loop gets caught on the door. He's like, the Matrix moved my doorknob and got my pants caught on the door. He stubs his toe on like the corner of the room. He's like, they moved my walls. I like it.
But if he truly thinks that someone slipped something in his drink that he's like allergic to, or he got poisoned, then that's all the reason to see the doctor. Like this is where masculinity is going to bite you in the ass, right? Because
this is why they say like, men live shorter lifespans.
Yeah, because you need to admit that
because the Matrix comes for them first.
Well, and it's also why they say married men live longer, because they have wives who force them to get medical attention for issues like this.
I mean, or Agent Smith is out to get him.
Who's making his coffee though?
That's a very good question.
Does Andrew Tate make his own coffee?
Right.
That's a very good question. I'm hoping that we find out later that, like, I do like, he is a genius marketer. He can turn anything to his advantage. He is so good at that.
If the Matrix actually is to blame for Andrew Tate's allergic reaction, we will be mea culpa-ing once again.
Yes.
And
just
unless he's growing his own coffee beans and he's got a well on his property, like, you have no idea what cross contamination could have gotten into any of those products you're buying. Plus, you're in Romania, where they don't, they probably don't have the same regulations as we have here in America. And we have some of the strictest regulations, and stuff still happens, right? We still see the E. coli outbreaks. We still see people getting sick from like romaine lettuce. Remember when that happened?
Yeah.
So it's
I
like,
bet that's from Romania.
there you go. So
that was good.
yo, dude, just get on Zoom with the doctor and he'll tell you what I'm telling you. And I'm not even a medical professional, but this to me is an allergic to reaction to something.
Maybe he's just alert. He's just too cool, and his body's fighting it.
The Matrix wasn't in my curriculum in medical school. Was it in yours?
He also, I think he would totally lie, and he's probably definitely had more than coffee and water today.
Waffy and Cotter.
Yeah, Waffy and Cotter. He definitely had more. Like I don't buy that.
Kafifi.
Also, his brother got arrested, right?
Did he?
No, he did not get arrested again.
He got charged.
He just had another charge added, an incitement to violence. And this is because one of the female suspects in their case, Georgiana Nagel, reportedly told Tristan a story about how one of their alleged victims she forced to raise her right hand, which she knew at the time because she had a breast augmentation would hurt her. And when she told this story to Tristan, he reportedly laughed about what happened.
And that's an incitement.
And that is an incitement to violence. I still don't totally get why they're in Romania anyway. Like, why they went there in the first place. Why they choose to stay there now.
Do they have...
Or if they even have a choice. I guess they're under house arrest still. But it's like, do you realize that nowhere on Earth has any concept of personal sovereignty and civil rights except for the U.S., and even here it's lacking?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. What are the extradition laws in Romania? Maybe he's avoiding the UK and the US for particular
Is he a dual citizen in the UK and the US?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, but if
UK.
he doesn't want to get arrested and sent to one of those countries, like I don't know what Romania's laws are, chat. I don't know if you guys know, but that could be why he's parked out there. And I know he's under house arrest while they're investigating him. But Andrew Tate, with all the money he has, I really find it hard to believe he couldn't have fled the country.
He should have somebody offer like an allergy course on Hustlers University. He could take his own
first aid course at Hustlers U.
And he could get himself better with his own first aid course. That way he doesn't get sick and he makes money. Pays himself to get better by taking a Hustlers University first aid course.
Or a
It'd be really
CPR
funny
certification from
if we
Hustler
get an
U.
update and his face is just even more swollen like a cartoon.
He's
You can't
like
even see
one of
his
those
eyes
dogs
or his
that
lips.
got stung by a bee or like ate a bee.
He's like, the Matrix is really coming for me now.
He's gonna.
Oh man, take care of yourself, dude.
I never saw an update on the lung cancer situation.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with
or
that. He was supposed to be going
it
to
was
Dubai.
either a non-cancerous like lesion or tumor he had.
Did you see
from
Tristan?
all that cigar smoking?
Tristan Tate just tweeted too. He's like, I don't care if smoking around kids is banned or it's bad. I'm paraphrasing. He's like, I'm gonna have a cigar when I want to have a cigar. My kids are gonna wait outside in the rain while I smoke it at my house. And I'm like, dude, what is? They're both so like, who raised these boys?
I saw another tweet that was like, why do weed smokers have such a violent reaction to you saying you shouldn't hotbox your dog?
What? You shouldn't hotbox your dog. It's not very nice.
No, it's not nice.
It's very bad.
We've got a few super chats left here. No Tax Good Tax said, unprecedented, 9 years after Sister.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said, a black girl can't lead a show. Did we just forget about Sister? It had 2 black female leads.
Or Moesha, starring Brandy.
Plenty of shows that we could point at. 1,000 Foot Deep End said, it's an undercover video Steven Crowder did. He gave the clinic a sample of a pregnant woman's urine. Sorry for the confusion. I won't interrupt and derail another segment with this one.
Wait, hold up.
Okay.
I'm even more
You're
confused
always
now.
welcome to derail the segment. I'm just
he
delusional
gave
today.
This clinic a pregnant woman's urine, why did it pop for testicular cancer?
I'm
so confused.
I don't know what this had to do with anything in the first place.
I know. This was his $20 super chat earlier. It's the follow-up when he was talking about Steven Crowder's.
It's a woman. Don't misgender.
What, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you tell?
It's a woman.
1,000 Foot Deep End?
But, yeah.
Oh.
But, nice spending of your $20, I guess.
Well, now I'm
what you wanted.
Now I'm interested in the situation, so I'm probably going to go look it up.
Derail the conversation.
Yes. I mean, if the goal is to derail the conversation, it did. So that's awesome. All right. All right, Kellen, my friend, thank you so much for joining us today. You all right there, buddy? You right there?
Yep. I think she is. Well, yeah, thank you guys for having me. I'm sorry you guys are both so deathly ill. I hope I don't get sick. I don't think I will because I remember I have immune system number 1.
Yep.
But thank you guys. As always, I like being the contrarian. It's fun. Follow me at KellenPDL. I probably Twitter is best. Follow me there. And that's really all I have to say, guys. Thanks for having me on.
There was a chat. Somebody in the chat earlier was like, Brett should check socials more. There's an ex-girlfriend of his talking shit about him on the internet. I was like, I don't know if that's real, but if so, that's
or
depressing.
Somebody who's claiming to be an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, and I don't know what shit that would be, but yes. All right, Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, and you can send me hate on Twitter. That is also Mary Archived. Yep. Thanks for being with us, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. I apologize as I am feeling under the weather, but I didn't want to miss 2 days in a row. So I hope, even though it wasn't a normal show, I hope it still was a good time for you guys to watch.
Suited your fancy.
Yes, something of that nature. So thank
Buttered
you guys.
Your biscuit.
Remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Turn the notification bell on so you can be notified anytime a segment or an episode goes live. If you'd like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brett Dastovic on both platforms. The show's here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you'd like to listen rather than watch, we're on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. And if you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twitter at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at popculturecrisis, and on Instagram at popculturecrisisPod. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.
Bye.